Hi everyone, I'm Timothy von Rueden, better known as Vonnart Online, and I'm joined by my wonderful boyfriend Josh. And today we're going to be drawing crystals. And I'm going to do my best to give you some advice and tips along the way. And I'm going to be working traditionally with pencils. You can draw in whatever medium, but if you have any comments or questions, just put @Vonnart, and we will do our best to answer them to the best of our ability. But Josh is our wonderful mod, so he will be helping out on directing the comments. Now, we're going to be doing this in our normal follow-along fashion, so 10-minute, and then 90-minute, and then critique. But before we get into that, I want to do a really quick insight on crystals so that you can go into the warm-up feeling a little more prepared. Okay, so before the stream started, I just jotted down these quick notes. So everything in the world can be broken down into these 4 forms. These are called the basic forms. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but this is the cube, sphere, cone, cylinder. So when you think about it, anything in the world, like this would be a cylinder matched with a cone. And you can kind of break things up into its simplest shape and its simplest form. So when we're talking about crystals, crystals are great because it's basically combining our cube and our cone, and it creates basically these prisms or pyramids where it's very easy to place your values on it because it all depends on where your light source is coming from, and then you can break it down from there. So what I mean by this, or actually I'll show you. So if you wanted to create a crystal, basically you draw your box, but instead of having a plane on the top, you have it come to a single point, and then you would repeat it underneath. And that's basically like the most basic crystal you can have. A lot of them will look more like this. They're not like perfectly pointed on each side. And I don't even think, oh, I do have one example. So in this, you see how we have the 2 points, and then we have the flat planes going down. So now what's great about this is, see, as I tilt it toward the light, almost the entire plane gets that reflection, but you can see how there's more of a gradient because it directly reflects it. Now this is reflecting my little light lamp on top, and that's why it's that thin strip of white. But if you were outside, the entire plane would be reflecting that light source. So crystals are great because you can kind of simplify the values and where or what direction they're facing toward the light. So when I did my example down here, if the light source was up here, actually, you know what, I'll do it on this one. This is a more complicated one. But if we had our light source above and overhead, this one would be our lightest, and then this one would be facing more downward, so it would be like this direction, and then this one would be facing this direction. So since this one's opposite, it'd be a bit darker, and then underneath you'd have some of that light pouring through, but this side would also be a bit darker as well. Now the darkest actually might be up here, and the reason for that is there's gonna be bounce light. So if there's, let's say the crystal is on the ground, if the crystal is actually like embedded in the dirt, let's say it's like sticking out, there's a good chance then, there's my kneaded eraser, that the bounce light is so strong that it might have more of a gradation going down like this, and it might be actually pretty light. Move that down. And basically when you're working with crystals, it's a lot of thinking about where the light source is coming from and where those planes are facing. So as you do a more complicated one with many structures, you can kind of tell, okay, if the light source is coming up here, the ones that are facing generally that direction will reflect that light, or if it's slightly tilted off, it'll be just a hair darker. Because you got to remember, a lot of the crystals that have different faces, like on the one we're going to be doing, so like right now you can tell this one is capturing most of the highlight right now, and this one's capturing some of it, and that's because they're just slightly bent at a different angle. So a lot of the times the imperfections make it look more perfect in your rendition of drawing crystals. And a lot of them won't be this like perfect pyramid top structure or pyramid head structure. And you want to draw them with a bit more cuts and irregularities like pentagons or hexagons, whatever it might be, and that will give you a more realistic type of crystal. So when you're going through this and when you're looking at the reference, try to imagine each side, let me see, I'll draw a pentagon one. This is a fat rock. I don't know why I did it. It's so fat.
Big rock.
Right. So if this was our rock, if the light source is overhead, this will be our lightest. And then this one will probably be like 20% value. This one would probably be like a 40%. And then depending on where this object was placed in the room, this actually might also be about 20%. So if this was, let's say 5, this would be, we'll say 15, 15, 15. This might be like 30 value. And then the one under here might be the darkest on the top. There might be a gradient going down because it's, remember, bounce light is very important when it comes to crystals. And just make sure that you're really focusing on contrast. That will really give you the illusion of a crystal. Now, something else that's very important is the lines that are, you know, where the angles and planes meet, honestly, are usually a bit lighter. So if you want to go in with an eraser, or if you're working digital, this will be much easier because you can just, you know, take a light brush, either like almost white or light gray, and focus on that edge where it meets. And even this one I could. I find that drawing lighter edges tends to work better for crystals than drawing darker edges. Now, working with pencils is a little tougher than working with color, in a sense where color you can kind of explore contrast with hue and saturation, but with pencil you're kind of working just with value, and it's a little trickier because that's the only trick you have in your or tool you have in your wheelhouse. So you want to utilize it to your advantage, and wherever you decide that a plane will be dark, I would make it really dark. It's like this one, I would push really dark. And you can see even in our example here how it's starting to feel more like a crystal. And I almost always have a gradient in every plane, just a slight one, because oftentimes you're going to have this natural gradation from dark to light. And then the last thing I'll show you is when I'm doing my actual rock, I try to make my outside lines pretty light because more often than not, I'll make the background darker. Or not even that dark, honestly, like a mid-tone. You can see how that will separate it from the paper as well. And then these lines actually look more silly on the inside. So make it more like that.
Nobu asks how to give it a beautiful texture, like, I'm guessing the one that's shown in the reference.
Okay, so yes, so once you do this stage and you added you kind of know where your planes are, you kind of know what value the plane will be, and you started doing your gradations. So then is when you add your detail within it. So a lot of the crystals have those mini facets and those angles and those, you know, let me see if I can get it on the camera. You can kind of see how it has this irregularity, like it's a very strange triangular spiky pattern within. I actually have a brush in Photoshop. I was thinking of putting it up on Gumroad today. I still might do it. Let me, you know what? I'm gonna share this really quick. Let me change this to show my Cintiq. Okay. So I did this tutorial for CG Cookie a long time ago. And as you can see, it's basically breaking down what I've just been talking about. And the thing you're talking about is this stage right here. So basically I have this sharp angle brush, and you can see I even have it selected. So all I did is I changed it to overlay and multiply, and it changed it from this to this. So it gives that multifaceted interior that you're kind of looking for. You can see the difference, especially in the heart one. You can see how much of a difference that makes going from this stage to this one, where it feels more like an interior crystal. So I'll put this brush on Gumroad within today. You know what? I'll just put it up today. I'll make it $1 and it is yours to have. And that's how I create the illusion of interior gems. And with digital, actually, you know what? I could just zoom in on this.
So you can do that with pencil then too, kind of, in terms of just the different like shapes within it?
Yes. It's a little harder with pencil. That's what I wanted to showcase. So with digital, you can just, oops, let me grab my brush. You can easily just, push it down on the monitor and you get, a million looking different triangles immediately. With a pencil, you kind of have to do it yourself. And it's like a slow, you can kind of do like jagged motions with your hand as you're drawing on. But you kind of want to create that similar interior here on pencils. Now, the trick is to draw not just like jagged, scribbles, but, little almost triangles, little squares, little pentagons, and stretch them, pull them, and you want to have them be small enough so it looks like the interior. So that's probably the hardest part of crystals. I think doing this part here, I think getting to this part actually isn't that hard. And this still can create a crystal looking rock. And then I think if you want to add that extra little detail, take it from good to great, that's where you add in these little like triangles. So that would be like, actually, to be honest, this is one of my least favorite parts of drawing crystals. Because you also want to make it look like it's inside of the crystal. So you don't want to go like this, because that'll make it look like there's a black triangle on top or like sitting on the plane of the crystal. So instead, you have to kind of make it look as though it's within the crystal. And to do that, you have to work a little lighter than the value that you probably want to do. But I promise it'll help out not going too dark. And I think it will help definitely in the planes that are lighter in value, because you can kind of create more of that that look. But even that I would say is a bit too dark. I would take my kneaded eraser and just lift it a bit, because you want it to be more of like a hint, like a whisper of those interior facets, something like that. And even that one's a little dark. So yeah, we'll get to that stage, and I think I am ready to do our warm-ups, if you guys are. And also, really quick too, as I'm looking at it, you can see how the other thing that I think really helps are your highlights. So you can see how I edged out some of the lines between here and here, like the edges, and just having even a gradient from the point at where the highlight's the strongest and kind of fade it out as you go down the line. And that's what I think will also really help. And I think having one of the angles kind of purely reflect the light back is a good indicator of the gem. So you see the triangle here, it's almost pure white. And I try to do that on every gem where there's at least one of those angles. Actually, this one's more of like the front one, is close to a pure white. You can see here I got that gradient going down. And then on more of like amber, it would be more obvious. It'd be like a highlight spot. Okay, so let me change it back. Okay, let's do our 10-minute warm-up. Sorry, that was a really long intro tutorial, but I really want you guys to know that drawing crystals is very easy. And I want you guys to have fun with it.
Oh wait, where's the... There it is. Forgot yours pulls up.
Oh, yes.
Oh wait, where's our timer?
Oh, it's right there.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Wait, hold on. Now I'm looking at, I need my... Get this out of here. Move this back over here. Okay. Okay, and I guess the last thing I will say is don't forget, if you have any comments or questions during, to put at vonnart. Josh is here to mod. And also I forgot to say this on the last one, we do have a donation button, so if you want to donate want to keep seeing more of these streams or request one yourself, we have the donation button in the description, and you will get a ring from the bell and a thank you from both of us. So, okay, let's go ahead and do this.
All right, ready?
Yes.
3, 2, and 1. Enjoy your...
So,
there we go.
For the warm-ups, basically you can just either Google crystals or gems, whatever, or if you have rocks of your own that you want to draw as your studies, So I'm going to just draw some of the ones on my desk here.
Actually, I'll catch up on some comments too while we're
Oh, yes. Yeah.
doing this.
I know I rambled for a while there.
Anthony says, I don't know, my Moldavite is technically meteorite glass, but it's known as a stone of transformation, and my life has been drastically changing since I got it. Probably in regards to...
Oh, like art crystals magic?
Yeah.
I want to believe that they are as well. Because I think the world is a little more fun with some magic.
Actually, Claire says, yeah, that's how I feel about most magic. It's just putting your energy intentions into the world. Yeah, because we even have, what is it right above our door? Quartz, right?
No, so I have, oh gosh.
What is above
I
the
always
door?
forget what this is called. Could you grab it, actually?
Yeah.
I want to say every time I think it's tourmaline, but I know that's not right.
So we have it on the front door, too.
So I was at a crystal shop where this lady told me that when I bought my Palo Santo and my shell for burning, I also got this with it. And I was like, well, what is this rock for? Now, for those of you who are watching, you're like, oh, this is this rock. Oh, actually, I really like the transparency on this. See my fingers?
Yeah.
This would be a good tutorial on transparency. Maybe I should do... Well, anyways. She told me that if you put this above the door frame of your doors in your house, anyone that walks through it, this crystal will help absorb some of their negative thought or energy and collect it. And I put it in our front door, and I've been putting them on every door in the house. And it's one of those things where I maybe it's working, but in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I just like the idea of it. And if I put my energy into believing that this is happening, then who's to say it's not? You know, I want to say it is. It starts with a C, maybe. I feel embarrassed that I always forget what that rock is called.
It is pretty cool, though. Let me see if there's any other ones that I missed. Well, temperature. Have you ever drawn a crystal geode? I don't know why that feels something you would put in your work.
To be honest, I was thinking about that because I was going to show examples of like crystals I've drawn in the past. I haven't really drawn a lot of things with crystals at all. So I think I want to do the next stream. It will probably be how to color gems. So next week will probably be a tutorial on coloring these gems. And I'll probably give you guys like a worksheet with like 3 gems that are like pencil drawn. And then I'll talk about how to color them and whatnot. But then after, I think it would be cool. I think it would be the last stream of the month then. Let's see. Yes, on the 27th. Let's do like a create your own creature or put your crystals into practice. Or no, God, I always mess this up. Put your practice into work. No. You know what I mean. We're going to basically take what we learned about how to draw crystals and apply it to either drawing a creature, a landscape, a character, a headdress, whatever it is. And yeah. That's the plan as of right now. Mm-hmm. So no, the answer to that question was a long-winded no, but I'm planning on using these streams to force myself to do it.
Eunuch says, now please tell us the secret of drawing clean gradients with pencil.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yes. I would say don't work with a darker HB or even darker than that. Honestly, I like working with H pencils to do like smooth, buttery gradients. And even like right now, I'm working with a 6H, which is light. I'm pushing down kind of hard on it. I have learned that usually if you want like a very smooth, buttery look, I would work with a 2H. Specifically, a 2H is the one that I like to work with, but I find that the darker B pencils have a little bit more of a grain left over when you work with them. And it's sometimes a really cool effect. And I'm going to actually be working with a HB today when I start off. But if I really want a clean gradient, yeah, work with a 2H.
Also, Angelica says selenite. Selenite? Selenite?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I thought it started with a C.
It starts with an S. Believe it or not.
Oh. You know,
but it sounds like a C.
I'm not a crystal guru.
It's one of those sneaky S's.
Here I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one.
It starts with a C.
Guys,
so sure.
Oh, I forgot to show the beautiful rock. So this is angel quartz. So when I went into the store, I went to the gem shop this Saturday, and I got this one because I wanted one to draw that looks like very Final Fantasy and has a lot of good shape and form. But then I kept looking at this one and being like, this I want to look at in the summer when we have all the sunlight pouring in on it. And I think this will just be gorgeous to kind of stare at. So I'm really excited about this one. Okay, anyways.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Felix, okay, I decided I'm doing a landscape, but I'll try and incorporate the crystal pretty close to reference.
Well, thank you, Felix.
I think the one with the reference, you could definitely do some cool like crystal city or something out of it.
Well, and I feel like, I mean,
It's
Felix,
so
you're
big.
so quick, and I feel like you're so good that I think it'll be no problem incorporating the crystal for you. So now for this type of a rock, you see how it's more jagged and more earth-like? So I did like a slight outline of it first, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of placing the values in this rough up and down motion shading because it's not as clean cut as the laser cut ones. Like this literally looks more like a rock pulled from the earth. So I want to have more of that organic type of technique laid on it to kind of help convey the rockiness and the irregularity of the outside.
And Jerry says I'm drawing a crystal. I'm going to draw a crystal egg.
A crystal egg.
Yeah, I like that.
Draw a crystal egg and then make it a Fabergé egg.
Anthony, everything has a vibration, and this has been scientifically studied, and each vibration has its own effect. This can be seen when you instantly get a weird feeling about someone. Yeah, no, I've seen that before about vibrations.
To be honest, I guess I don't know enough about it. Yeah, I would be curious to look more into it though. What do I got? 2 minutes? Okay, do one more rock here. Do this big blue one.
Joy Kim says, "Hi, I just joined the stream and I have a question. Will you be drawing clusters of crystals? I have a difficult time grasping the details and texture."
So the one that we're going to be drawing today is this one. This is a light Brary crystal. I have to have my cheat sheet over here. But it's actually it's a version of citrine, believe it or not. And yes, so these are the kind of the clusters we're going to be working with today. So this one has like this fun irregularity on the bottom. Let me move this up. So I can kind of draw those values in. I honestly do believe that with crystals, sometimes having more imperfect sketch marks can actually help it read more like a crystal. And then have that complemented by like really sharp edges in certain points.
Just a minute left.
Okay.
Weltenbird Chair says, I just learned our bodies have crystals and minerals. Appetite for teeth, crystals in the ear, crystals in the pineal gland. So there's something there.
Oh, that's interesting. You guys are like crystal experts. I feel like I'm going to learn more from you guys than I'm going to teach you.
And I feel like we just kind of like looking at them. I've not really seen like all the...
like I do actually read each crystal. Like I know like this one's prosperity and wealth.
Yeah.
And some,
what each thing is.
There's some like where this one I really like too. But this one, we only have 1 second left. Alright, well these are my warm-up crystals. But But this one I really like, and I sometimes adhere my own meanings to them. So this one is kind of pretty, but you really start to see how pretty it is in when you move it like that. See that lime green? But I believe that for me, the meaning I gave it is I feel my best when I'm actively doing stuff. So if I'm working or if I'm, playing games with Josh or if I'm traveling, whatever I'm doing, I feel the best when I'm in motion. And that's what this rock kind of reminds me. So each rock I kind of attribute like a mini story to it. Or at least when I go to a crystal shop, I really have to have it, make a meaning for me to want to buy it. So yeah. Okay, well I hope you guys had a good time with your warm-ups. Let's go ahead and get our real sheets out here. Let's see, just have a good page. Yes. Okay, so reset our timer, please.
So an hour and a half.
So we're gonna do 90 minutes here. Now, similar to the one that we did last.
Oops. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
13 hours.
There you go. Similar to the hairy one last week, we are gonna really focus on looser, more scrappy lines in at least the first 10 minutes. I think I want to emphasize this every week we do these follow along live streams where we're doing like things from scratch. I think the worst thing you can do is like start to really detail and get heavy into rendering before you even have the whole rock kind of shaped out. I do find that I work faster and I'm more efficient when I keep it looser, at least in the first 10 minutes. Honestly, I'll probably do like the first half hour, keep it more loose. So just a tip from me to you, I was one of those people that would hyper render instantly. And I realized I was wasting a lot of time along the way because a lot of those details get lost as you start to go around. And by having more of them included early on, it'll just help you in the long run. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have your references out, and I have mine. And we have the little image below here too. Okay, I'm ready. Okay. You guys ready?
Do the stretches.
Yeah, right.
Get your hands warmed up.
Okay. And just remember that done is better than perfect, so you do your best to draw as much of the crystal as possible. And let's get to it. Okay, Schwab.
All right. Hands on the ready.
Hands on the ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Okay.
Anthony, I've been planning on using wood for the letters inside the gilded gold casing of my title painting, though you've inspired me to add raw crystals.
Ooh.
Actually, something cool we've seen is crystals that like grow into wood. So you could almost have the two implemented together. Is kind of a cool look. I'm excited to see this world you're building, Anthony. Mothumper Chair says, I love selenite. I was just thinking it would be cool, difficult to draw. Yeah, especially how transparent it is, too.
Well, it's great because it has like this smoky interior look. And it has all these lines, kind of like scratches all the way across it. And that'd be very interesting to draw. Oh man, this crystal has a lot going on. I love this. And the best part about doing crystal work like this is you can kind of get away if the proportions or if the shaping isn't perfectly represented as in the reference, like it's a little off. No one will ever notice in a drawing. And that's why I love drawing organic things more than like structural hard edge surface like sci-fi planes or something. It's because with fantasy you can let it be more organic, and if a crystal is jutting out a little longer, if there's more texture on this part of the rock, it really doesn't matter.
Hello, Tefalina. And hello, Jonathan.
Hey, Liddell.
Yes.
Hello.
No worries, you're not late, Tefalina.
Yeah, we just started.
Fem, that might need 13 hours.
We could just do you got this.
We could do a 24-hour drawing stream where it's just this.
Oh my god!
You have to finish a big piece. To like sleep for a couple hours here and there. There's those people that do that where they they don't actually sleep for like 6 to 8 hours straight. They'll take like rest for an hour every like 3 or 4 hours. It's a weird. They never
Really?
sleep. Yeah. I think that's kind of crazy though, and I don't think that's healthy. But
I think if we ever did like a super long stream, I wouldn't do anything longer than 12. Even 12 seems like a lot to me.
I watch streamers do 24-hour ones. It's crazy.
I mean, actually, I'm not opposed to doing like a 12-hour one. Like, I think it would be kind of fun.
I think you have to definitely give breaks and do things.
Yeah,
To
I
give
think I
you
would
some
mentally
energy.
prepare for it.
Yeah, because most of them are gaming, so it's more like they can be playing a game for 24 hours, which I know I could do, but...
Well, I know I can draw
But I
for
get
12 hours
sleepy.
straight. I think I would be more worried about having to be live for 12 hours because, like,
it's a
I would definitely. Well, I can usually ramble about things for a while, but
lot.
that's a lot of time. Like with gamers and Twitch people, I feel like they can kind of talk about the game they're playing. Where what I'm drawing, it's like I can only talk about like drawing gems for so long before you guys are like, okay, I get it. Like you're repeating yourself at this point.
Articals, hello, sorry for being late. You guys aren't late, you're fine. Bye for crystals.
Yeah, so I'm focusing more on like those different planes, like I said before. And you can see how I'm going pretty light with the edges as well. That's because I know when I have a darker pencil, I can really kind of detail that edge work. But for now, I want it to keep it lighter.
Oh my gosh. You says, I think there's some weird sleeping habits of Da Vinci, Tesla, and Einstein. I mean, that would make sense.
Wait, was that just the comment?
Yeah. Well, because we were talking about the, like, not sleeping for hours straight.
Oh.
Because apparently Tesla only slept for 2 hours a day.
Oh.
I
Well,
think
he
I
could
would
have
be,
that.
I would go crazy. I think I would be a little loopy, to be honest.
Well, I've been
Because if I
doing-
don't get enough sleep, I just feel really off.
I've been doing more research on sleep, and apparently there are people with a condition where they can't sleep for more than like 2 hours a day. He might have had that condition, honestly.
How do you do that?
Well,
So
I
is
think
it just
your
like
body doesn't need it. It's weird.
your body is producing too much? What would that be then?
I have no idea.
Would that be like serotonin or something? Or like not enough of it? I don't
No,
know.
you mean melatonin.
Melatonin?
But
But you would still be sleepy, right?
honestly, just look it up. I thought it was kind of nuts too. But yeah, apparently some people, they only need a certain amount. It's a very
that's
rare
It's
condition.
kind of convenient because that would be nice to not have to sleep so long sometimes. But I like sleeping a lot.
Yeah, you are definitely one
Yeah.
to enjoy the sleep.
Oh, and I woke up this morning and Astrid just was snuggled with me all morning.
Astrid's our cat, by the way.
Yeah. Wait, what condition? Short sleeper syndrome?
Is that it?
I don't know. It's the first thing that came up.
I'm going to draw this one jutting out. You can
Oh, there's a
tell
lot
on
there.
the left one here, it's not like a perfect cut either. Sometimes I'll make my marks a little more jagged to represent that.
The amount of sleep you need is determined by your genetics.
Yes.
Apparently, a lot of people slept in my genetic code. Anthony says, my college had a 24-hour challenge where each major had their own thing. And for illustration, one year we had a guitar cover design, and the next was 3 skateboard designs.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah, where colleges will be like, okay, you have a day to make something. We
Did you do that?
No, the class above me did, but we did not. I kind of remember being excited about it too, but I don't know if there were like too many complaints because, you know, artists tend to complain about like, this was detrimental to my health. But I mean, I wanted to do it. I was ready. I was game.
You're like, I'm gonna stay up the whole 24 hours.
I was like, I'll be up the whole 24 hours. Like, give me some energy drink. Let's do this.
You would be up the whole 24 hours. I think if I would have to take a nap, at least 2 hours.
You would be taking a nap about 30 minutes in, and then waking up 8 hours later.
Where's it at, guys?
You'd be that team member that gets to put their name on the project, even though they didn't.
Okay, no, I would stay up, Tim.
You say that. I have never seen you be able to like stay up to do things that aren't gaming.
Tim. But true.
It's not a bad thing necessarily.
It's the thing that can captivate me the most, I guess.
Video games?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I do want to say, so yesterday, me and Josh tried playing League again. There's just something about it where I don't think I can play it anymore. I really enjoyed it in my early 20s, but I also got I would get angry with it. I would get angry at myself. And last night, it was just like, it brought up that same feeling of like, just frustrated. And then you feel like 50 minutes went by in a game and you lost and you feel defeated. So then you feel like you have to play another one to redeem yourself. But then when we lost the second one, and I was like, I just wasted 2 hours. Like, I didn't even have fun. I didn't enjoy it. Maybe I was in a bad mindset because I wanted to win. But it's hard for me to play a game and not have that desire to, like, want to win.
Yeah, because I try to get Tim I love Dead by Daylight. And I try to get Tim into that game, and even that, you kind of got frustrated.
Well, I love watching you play it. I think Dead by Daylight's different where I know I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
So like, it's more frustrating because I'm like, I'm just an easy target and I'm kind of hurting my team. And since it's a team game, you never want to feel like you're the weak link. And playing Dead by Daylight, I just feel like the weak link. You know?
I mean, sometimes you need someone just keeping the killer busy, I guess.
Like, I would rather you play with a random then at that point that is better, even though it's not me, and I'll just watch.
Fem, Josh is cheating on you with an Astrid. Don't trust him.
I knew it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to compete with my love for Astrid a little bit. I do like Astrid.
She's a good cat.
She's a cool cat.
Oh, okay. Now that we're getting into kind of the bottom half of the crystals, you can see the top half, I did keep it more like angular. The bottom half is way different. I'm going to have more of these like jagged pencil kind of implying surface texture, and it'll butt up right and kind of bleed into those more hard jagged lines, and that will create that look of, you know, crystals forming out of a rock.
Hang on, let me catch up on these. There's some animal species that don't sleep at all.
What? Really?
That's just weird.
I did not know that.
Would it be like... Well, I know cats are weird too because they even... Well, Astrid knocks out, but a lot of cats don't really like go into full sleep.
Really?
It's kind of like this half awake, half asleep.
Oh, is it like in case their predatory instincts need to come kicking in? There's this beautiful gradient right in the center of this rock. Hope you guys have fun drawing that one.
Oh, this little red panda.
You're still researching sleep.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at animals that don't sleep. I feel like while you're drawing, I'm just Googling all these things everyone's talking about.
Well, in a way,
Like,
this is kind
there's
of
so
fun
much.
because we can learn something new while drawing. Because you can be like our little researcher diving into the world of Google.
Well, everyone just knows so many different facts. It's so fun.
Actually, you're right, yeah. I mean, I've learned so much from these streams in the past where you guys will suggest something or tell me to look at something. I'm like, what? I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know some animals don't sleep. Now I'll remember that.
Historian A. Roger Eckridge has argued that before the Industrial Revolution, interrupted sleep was dominant in Western civilization.
Interrupted sleep? What does that mean?
Eunuch, so probably like never got full like a straight 6 hours or 8 hours without being interrupted. He draws evidence from more than 500 references to a segmented sleeping pattern in documents from the ancient, medieval, and modern world. Eunuch, also I'm not procrastinating 7 minutes into this. That's interesting though. Would that be probably then what genetically could affect like current sleep issues then a lot too? Is that would make sense, because even back then too, they're not sleeping in like structures or quiet areas all the time, especially if they're sleeping in rooms together, or so I'm sure there's a lot of interruptions.
Also, I want to note for the bottom half of the rack, focus more on where those darker values are, and you can kind of sloppily place them on here, because the bottom half really doesn't have these nice, clean, cut edges as the top half. So as I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, where are the shapes that I can kind of recreate? And there's some beautiful lines going down the left side here. They kind of follow the lines of the crystals a bit, but then get all broken up and distorted. So I want to recreate that. And then you can definitely see the lines on the cutting of this rack here. And I'll probably show that more when I bring in my darker pencil. I just know this is going to be really fun to shade.
It's just fun watching it come together right now.
And that's why
something I think is really fun to watch you draw, because it does kind of just...
Oh, crystals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why, last week was kind of a doozy of a study. Like, that was a challenge. Drawing a whole person with like tattoos and fabric and hair, face, like everything. We're like a very like close up study, and it's kind of simplified. I feel like it's easier for you then to create something that starts to bring life into it. And you're not so focused on like, are the eyes positioned right? Like on here, you're like, okay, does this feel like the crystal? So I want to do more of these. If you guys have any suggestions, because this one was actually based on a suggestion, and I kind of like the idea of continuing doing these every Wednesday, but I'm doing them based off what you guys want to see. Because I talked to Josh, I think we're going to keep these Wednesday streams going and keep them kind of focused on the tutorial side. And then if I ever do just like free drawing or something, I'll do it on a Twitch. But I think these very structured tutorial ones, I'm going to do them all on YouTube. And as of right now, we have plans to continue doing these, what would that be considered? From now on. From now on.
And indefinitely.
Forever.
I like all this sleep talk though. It's really intriguing. Actually, I had a dream that I had to go back to high school. For anyone that doesn't know, I was homeschooled. So I think there's always...
So when you say you go back to high school...
Right. You're
talking back to your parents' house?
I was actual like high school, but then it was really weird because everyone there was older though. So it was like a high school for... It was like people that go back for their GED, but it wasn't even the GED. It was like actual high school. It was interesting. I remember for a bit of the dream, I was trying to find a schedule of my day because I didn't know what was going on. So I had to try to find a schedule, and it took me a while. But I found one in the library. But then the lunch area was in the library too. It was a weird dream. But I guess it's just...
You trying to dream talk us right now?
Yeah. Maybe there's a meaning to it.
Oh,
no,
sure.
I think that one was just one of those weird ones where it's like, I don't get it.
I will say I find collective dreams very interesting, where like everyone has similar dreams that can probably be referenced to something, and it's like a collective. So example would be like losing your teeth or feeling like your teeth get soft and loose and like you can pull them out or they fall out. And I like the studies that have been done on this because it's not like a weird uncommon dream. It's like everyone seems to have at least one of these in their life. So I love reading about like what does that mean, and I don't know. I find that stuff really interesting too.
Jamie says, I know a guy who plays D by D hardcore. He's super good with the hag.
I know someone that plays hardcore right here.
Oh, I play a lot. Oh yeah, I know there's a lot of it's funny, there's a lot of drag queens that play Dead by Daylight. So I like watching a lot of those.
Oh, that's what we can discuss. If anyone watches Drag Race, the new episode was actually somewhat redeeming because we didn't enjoy the format of the first one as much, but I love some of the queens.
Oh yeah.
So I guess if any of you guys watch it, my front runners right now are Utica, Gottmik, and then Tina Burner, and probably Candy.
Yeah, I like Candy a lot.
Candy's pretty good.
No, I like Utica a lot.
Yeah, I love Weird
Candy.
Queens.
And then, what's the one? Actually, I liked Elliot with 2 T's. We'll see.
Yeah, I just felt really bad for her.
The whole first episode was so mean of that show.
It was so mean.
That first episode, I just felt icky watching it.
Oh, actually, speaking of crystals and like things that we've seen recently, so my best friend Kat, who's the fitness trainer, out of the blue goes, "Hey guys, I want to watch Mother!" exclamation point. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, "Are you sure you want to watch Mother?" It's like, "Do you know what it's about? Like, do you know how intense it is?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I watched this like trailer for it, and I was like, I really want to watch it. I'm intrigued." I'm like, "All right." So we watched it, and if any of you have seen Mother, it is intense. It is one of the most intense movies I've ever seen in my life. Now, I can understand if people hate it, so I'm not going to try to defend it. But it was my favorite movie I watched that year. I thought it was, I saw it in the theater. I thought it was the most intense theater experience I've ever had. I was like literally at one point looking around at people being like, "Are you watching what I'm seeing?" Like, we are collectively watching this together. We're experiencing this film that is life altering. I just had such a great time in the theater. But I can also understand because I talked to the Gerards about it, and Justin and Annie didn't like it as much because of the scene. I won't say which one, but it's the one with the baby. And at that time, they just had kids. So for them watching it, it was like, it was too close to home. It was too, I think they thought it was in bad taste.
Speaking of a baby.
Oh, speaking of our little baby. Oh, well, hello, Astrid. Welcome to the stream.
You just needed to let us know you were there.
Oh, she ran away. So Astrid's litter box, our cat Astrid, her litter box is in my office. So if I ever have it mostly closed, she'll just meow at the door, even though she could easily get in. But she wants me to open it for her like a highness.
Well, you were, when she had wear a cone for a little bit, so Tim kind of pampered her and would like pick her up and set her in the litter box. And I think she kind of got used to that for a bit. She was like, Tim?
There are times where she'll look at me when she's outside the litter box and like, "I'm not putting you in the litter box."
Astrid's kind of a
you don't have a code,
but I love it.
She's not really a brat though at all.
No.
Like for real. As much as I like to poke fun at Astrid,
take a lot of fun to her. She can be a brat sometimes with her food. You don't have to feed her. She can be a little bit.
Oh, you're right there. I don't see her eating.
She gets a little mean with her food.
Does she really? Wait, what does she do?
Well, no, if I'm like, she'll start meowing. She'll do those really loud meows and just stare at me like, dead eye, like, "You better feed me right now."
I don't think that's being bratty. She's just excited to eat.
You know, she's a little bratty, but I love her.
What else is new? Oh my gosh. I've been doing Kat's workout program. I'm on day 11, I think. What's today? No, 13.
I did 3 days.
You did 1 day.
I did 2 days.
No, you did 1.
It was 2 or 3 days, Tim. I did
So-
more than one.
You did not.
I did more than one. I did. Because
Josh,
remember we
what?
got the weights. I did with the first day you didn't have the weights, and then the second day you bought the second set of weights for yourself. So we both had weights. So I did do 2 and
Oh,
3.
I'm wrong. You are right. You did
Oh,
2.
shoot,
You did
okay.
2.
I tried. No, I'm gonna do it again.
I was like 3. It's like, no, you have not.
I stay sore for so long, so going back to doing the workout again.
Oh, you
It's
know what?
a
A
lot.
part of me kind of wants to add in the hand holding it. You know what? This is a choice right now. I'm gonna do that after. I feel like I do kind of want to draw the hand holding it, but I won't do that for the stream. Okay, so you can see I kind of have the rough outline of the crystal and like some of the values placed. So now I'm gonna do a second pass and I'm gonna kind of darken, edge out some things, but I'm still working with the same pencil. And actually, this is my 6H. Normally I start with a 2H. And also in areas where the crystal is a bit lighter, I'm gonna push around it to be just a tickle darker so that it really punches out the values within the crystal. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where you can get a nice buttery gradient. The H pencil, you probably can't see it on the camera that well. A little bit, but you can start to see how the value that I'm pushing out becomes more of like a nice soft gradient. And I find that I can get that easier with my H pencils. Okay, and I'm going to try to work left to right on this. So I'm going to start on this side.
I do want to catch up a little bit because there's some really good things about sleep still, and then some things about dreams. Hang on.
Just like
I'm gonna have to pick and
dreams.
choose what, because you guys have so much info.
We can just start spouting. I mean, we still have what, an hour and 5 minutes? We got a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
time.
we have a lot.
So go for it.
Dolphins and hummingbirds have various forms of partial sleep. Felix says, I think for dolphins they just sleep one brain half at a time.
What?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Seriously?
That'd be really nice though, because then you could say, well, you're like more logical things for one half of the day, and then you can do your more creative things one half of the day.
I feel like I would either love that or hate that. Because imagine if you only had your, what's the one side called? It's your creative side and your logic, is it? Or,
I think that's the basic, yeah, right? Because it's more the.
like, what if I wanted to draw, but only my logic brain was turned on?
Where's your memory stored? Which half?
The front.
So it's both.
You know what? We're not doctors.
Yeah, we're not. We are not medical
Don't take any of this as a
professionals.
But I do think I remember from some YouTube video I watched, which clearly that's fact, that it's in the front lobe.
Okay.
Or frontal lobe.
I mean, I was
wait.
homeschooled and I just had a dream about going back to high school, so clearly
No,
I
I
need a
think-
refresher on all
I
that.
think memories are stored in different. You know what? Never mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop pretending like I know where all this stuff is.
Chef Vic Rosine says, I love the design of your sketchbook 1, and I have sketchbook 2 and 3. What company did you publish with? I want to use a similar design for my own future book.
So the book company is called On the Mark, and is that Astrid?
It is
hi.
Astrid, yeah. She came to Bishop for a little bit.
She's like, "Oh, you guys on stream? Like, can I say hi?" Nope.
Astrid's not the biggest fan of being picked up. But
She doesn't like being
see if
picked
she'll
up.
Come. Nope, she doesn't. She already knows I was coming over. She's like, not right now. She's busy.
But I will say, for my 4th book, one of my friends is opening up her. Not even opening. She already did. It's called Print Lore in Chicago, Illinois, and that's who I'll be doing my 4th book with. And she's great to work with. She doesn't take on a lot of projects at a time. That way she can ensure the quality. And she did Villarte's book, if you know Villarte, or Viarte, and that's Gary. And then Art of Price, or Sean, who's one of my close friends. She did his book as well.
Why is there a counter timer counting down? So Tim gives everyone, what is it, an hour and a half to try to draw as much as this as they can, and then we all post it on Discord, and then we share each other's work.
So this is more of a study where we're working on your being effective with a certain amount of time. So I noticed that I got really quick in college when in life drawing when I was challenged to really have time be a factor. So I wanted to kind of bring that back for these type of study streams where I'm not only teaching you how to draw something or to practice with me, but then we have a timer, so we also are trying to work quickly. And that's not meaning that we are rushing anything. It's more trying to create the habit of moving your pencil quicker and being more effective with your drawings. Because I know I have a tendency to go slower and I can really zoom in on detail. So these studies are good even for me to like remind myself, okay, let's keep it moving. Be effective with your, oh, what did someone tell me that was really, it was like your brush, I forgot how they explained or what the word was, but basically they said, imagine you're doing a painting and you only have 100 strokes of your paintbrush.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so they're like, you want to make sure every stroke has a purpose. And that, I forgot the word that it was, but it really affected me because I think with pencil, I'm just always like, blah, 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 blah. I was like noodling all the time. But like if I was doing line art, I now do kind of slow it down. I'm like, okay, imagine my, if I only had 100 pencil strokes to, edge this out. And it does help me because then I go slower, but then I'm also being more effective with each line that I use.
That'd be like a puzzle.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they say the best artists are the best problem solvers. So, or not they, that's what I say. So I think when I look at how people draw or how they work, they find a problem like, oh, I can't draw butterfly wings or whatever it is, or I can't draw crystals like this. And then they'll look at reference, they'll figure out, they'll observe through life, they'll experiment, and they'll execute it. And then they'll find ways of doing it quicker. And to me, that is like the best way to do art. Think of yourself like a problem solver or investigator, however you want to do it. And you can create anything. You really can. Yeah, that we had so many questions.
I know, sorry. No, I scrolled down again and then I'm scrolling back up.
Oh, that's a trap.
Yeah, that is.
As soon as you scroll down, you forget where your place was.
I really lost my place. Okay, here we go. Interrupted sleep was sleeping about 4 hours, being awake for 1 to 2 hours in the middle of the night, and then sleeping another 3 to 4 hours.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Interesting. Split 4-hour sessions. I mean, that probably wouldn't actually be the worst. I might start considering that. I don't know.
Yeah, right. There's no way after 4 hours you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm good.
Okay,
I can just get up now.
Just get up for 1 or 2 hours. I don't know. Have a little refreshment.
I'd be very curious. I'd be curious to watch you try.
Yeah, no, it won't work. Fem says, I'm definitely writing down that I will never will get married or plan anything on a Wednesday because these streams are going to go on every week till I die.
Yeah, yes, infinity.
Indefinitely.
Indefinitely. We don't plan on dying, so literally forever.
We'll just be little crystal people one day.
My head will just be in a tube or a vacuum of some sort. Or like a robot arm. Be like, okay, hi everyone, welcome to this Wednesday follow-up live stream.
I'm Timothy Von Rueden, better known as vonnart Online.
Also, you can see on this rock, specifically the left-hand one, see all like the little lines and like the irregularity in the cut as it goes down? It's like little wrinkles almost. So you can try to recreate that by like picking up your pencil and putting it down in very quick strokes back and forth along this facet of the crystal.
All right, sorry. I was just clearing up some messages. Oh gosh. Anthony says something that deeply disturbs me is that a lot of people have reported fears of seeing a pale face with a huge creepy smile and wide open eyes outside their window, including me. Like in dreams.
Oh. I've never had that
I don't know
before.
if I've had that before. I have had like a dream being trapped in the room and then having, this is a while back, but then having someone like look in through the window. But it was like the room had really no like other exits or anything. It was just windows. That was freaky. It did have a bathroom though.
I've never
I
had
remember
like
that.
a real horror dream, but I do get home invasion nightmares, and those are terrifying for me. So I guess those are nightmares.
Yeah.
But I haven't had like a Ring Girl or a, Freddy or Jason or any of them. I've never really had nightmares about those.
Actually, it'd be totally fine with the dream about Freddy.
I get to meet him.
Yeah, I get to meet Freddy.
I'm your biggest fan.
Oh my gosh.
But not the new Nightmare on Christmas Freddy. Or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Christmas.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if Jack Skellington was one of the killers in Dead by Daylight?
That'd actually be kind of spooky.
They should do that for a Halloween as kind of, or just make one of the costumes for one of the characters. I think it'd be cute. Or no, make it an original character.
It's all licensing. No, they can't. They would ruin his image then of him.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, he could be a survivor.
Oh, well, no. Immediately in my head, I went from, oh yeah, no.
Nope.
Like instant denied in my head.
Have both of you had any prophetic dreams?
Pathetic?
No, prophetic. Like prophecy.
Oh.
Prophetic, like something that you dreamed that actually came.
I'm like, yeah, I've had a few pathetic dreams.
I don't think I have. Or I just can't remember it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like trying to force a memory that's not there because I'm thinking about it so much. I feel like I have had in the past though where I've dreamt about like someone getting hurt or in an accident, but I feel like it was just coincidence. You know what? I'm gonna say no because if I can't remember it like right away,
I feel like
I'd be forcing.
You'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that'd be something you would remember. So no, I have not had one of those. I did though. For a little while, I kind of figured out how to lucid dream while you're in the dream. I've kind of lost that ability since. But I remember I was able to be like, Tim, you can fly now. And I would just like... Have you ever had that?
No.
Oh, when you can kind of recognize you're in a dream,
just go with the
but you're
dream.
still so much like in sleeping mode. I don't know. That was really cool.
Dreams are like you're getting a movie about yourself happening. It's really weird, but you're living in it. Because like I've actually had third-person dreams before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anthony, you'll be one of those head jars from Futurama.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my gosh. I just remember the episode where they drink the head jar juice. Remember?
No.
Yeah, they drink the head jar juice and it like time jumps them then. So if like they drink, I'm trying to think, like George Washington, they would jump back to like his time frame, I guess. It doesn't make sense because obviously his time frame's a lot, but it would just jump back to his time, I guess.
That's really gross though. I'm thinking of like drinking juice that only a head has been sitting in.
Right? That's like the future drug, drinking people's head jar juice.
Not here for it.
Yeah, have you guys had any prophetic dreams? I can't even remember anything though that would be considered it.
Oh, this crystal I'm gonna redo here. See, and since I kept the line so light, it's really easy to edit on the go.
Well, Temperature says, do you know like Sergio Topi's work? Do you know?
Sergey? Is that?
Sergey?
I think it's T.O. Yes. Okay. So I found him on Pinterest. I have so many of his images saved to like my secret file. I think he's excellent. he is able to distort
Ooh.
realism and proportions in like just a minute way, and it's just so gorgeous.
I don't know if I've seen this before.
He is great. Actually, I'm surprised I don't have one of his books, because when I found him on Pinterest, I was like, what diamond did I just, unearth from this mine known as Pinterest? Yeah, it's great. So if any of you haven't heard of him, definitely give his work a look. It's worthwhile.
I never really had those kind of horror dreams, but I did used to dream where I was looking out the window with my brother and parents and seeing a comet coming towards us. That's kind of spooky. Or dreams where it was like old school Donkey Kong games. I was really small and slow, and I had to go pick up medicine and bring it to my parents in their bed, but I would always be too late.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's kind of a horror dream then.
I would
It's
say
like
that's
a very, I think if anything that's like true horror, because it's a very real thing that could happen.
I will say the comment when you and your family were looking at it, that's very, if any of you have seen the movie Melancholia, that's what that reminds me of. This doesn't look how
I don't think I've seen that one.
Kirsten Dunst. Oh yeah, I mean it's good. I don't think it's one that a lot of people will enjoy because it is slower, but
I like Kirsten Dunst.
It does talk about the idea of like another planet colliding with Earth, and what does that mean for us, and how do we prevent it? How do people make resolutions with the idea of dying? It's it's one that I like, but it's hard for me to recommend it. Especially after me and Josh were talking about my favorite movie of 2019 was Climax, and he was like, that was a one and done. I don't want to ever watch it again. I don't want to talk about it. That one I would say is more intense than Mother.
Wait, which one?
Climax.
Oh, yeah.
I would say Mother is really intense, but I would say Climax actually tops it in my opinion. Because it is harder to sit through, and the whole idea is imagine 30 people locked in, or not even locked in a warehouse, just in a warehouse, but it's snowing outside, it's like dead of winter, and someone heavily spikes the punch with acid, and you can't see what people are seeing, you just know that they're not having a good time, and things get intense. So if you're in for a really intense kind of uncomfortable movie, I would recommend Climax.
I do not recommend that movie for multiple reasons, but watch it if you dare.
Yeah, watch it if you're not scared easily, or if like
it's like real horror, I guess, because it's more realistic, I guess, or something that could happen, I guess. Where Mother, I think I still have that break because it's not like you don't see this being a real thing happening.
It's more metaphors.
Yeah.
And even the baby scene, I was trying to explain to Kat, and to me, the baby was a metaphor as well. So
yeah.
It is different.
It's like, metaphorical. You can look at it and still be like, okay, there's a detachment from it where...
I would say watching Climax, it almost felt like this is a movie about a true story.
Kind of, yeah.
Where like obviously they over-dramatized it in some aspects, but you could see where this could have happened. And it is, it's kind of creepy. But if any of you know Gaspar Noé's, I think his last name is just Noe. I don't know how to say that in French. His work, I would say Climax is the more palpable one, but it has that same trippy visual effect, or not effect, but that same play with like afterlife, and I don't know, that one's more fun and in some ways more of a thinking movie. But yeah, Climax is more like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We have 48 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I'll do the 30-minute announcement. So you're good.
Okay.
Jonathan says, I've managed the lucid dream flight only once. It was incredible.
Oh, I love it. Flying dreams, I wish I could just stay in that for hours. It usually is. It only feels like 10 minutes or something, because then my mind, I either wake up or I'm already on to the next dream or whatever, but I love flying dreams.
I do think most of my dreams, though, I only get one a night, and it usually will last. It feels like it lasts a really long time, and then usually I wake up and it's morning. But
They
I don't get
say
multiple.
is that you then don't remember your first two. You just remember your last one.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, because last night I just remember the high school one. I remember one of my friends actually had like a really cool room in the high school and I wanted one. So then I had to go find how to get a room there. It was the weirdest dream. Sorry, I'm reading.
The way that I like to do comments is I kind of read as I say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of tell after like a couple words if it's going to be like a bad comment or like one that's inappropriate, and then you can kind of just like move on.
Oh yeah, I know. There's been a couple I've had to mute. Oh yeah, Eve. I have a lot of prophetic dreams, but it's always no, like my partner hanging oh my gosh, I can't say this word.
Where?
Macrame, right? Macrame
Yeah.
sheet. Or when I was younger, I often had dreams of my biology test with the essay questions. Ooh, that's a horror. Any essay question.
That's kind of interesting.
That's actually those. I like. You seem like you have very peaceful dreams, though. Besides the biology test one.
Oh yeah, any of the ones where you're going back to school to take a test and you haven't studied for them. I don't know if like that's a nightmare to me, and I get those like once a month. Usually because I'm like stressed out about a deadline or something I have to do and I'm not finished yet. That's when I tend to have those dreams.
Oof.
I hate those. I really hate those.
Kara, I had this loop dream when I woke up and saw my gorilla stuffed animal eyes turn red and charge at me, and I knew it was a dream, and I forced myself awake, and it happened again and again, and I knew till my dad woke me up.
Oh god.
That's terrifying. Yeah, I've never been stuck in a loop like that where you're waking up but you're not actually waking up.
Yeah, that's like a legit horror movie trope.
Yeah, because you feel like you're out of control then with it. Vesca is just subscribed.
Well, thank you, Carolina.
Carolina, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We only saw the Vescas there for a second on the screen.
Oh, well, thank you, Rio, for subscribing.
Real, thank you.
Hope you're enjoying this.
Jonathan says Melancholia. Now that was his cinema experience. Love the fact that Kiefer Sutherland was in it too.
Oh, well, thank you, Deepa Lama. Oh, that's right. I forgot he was even in it.
Wait, was he the director?
No.
Wait, who was that? Wait, I
No,
don't know
the
if I
director,
know.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say it was Lars von Trier off the top of my head.
Okay. Wait, I don't know who Kiefer Sutherland is then.
Oh, you'll
What else
go
would I know?
Google.
Well, do I know who that is?
Think of a popular TV show. Actually, I don't know if you watched this TV show or not. No, you probably did.
Oh, Designated Survivor. I've seen that. That's all I know him from. What else is he in?
he's in 24. Yeah.
No, I know him more from Designated Survivor. I
What?
never watched 24. But I watched Designated Survivor.
Wait, he was in Lost Boys? I didn't know that. Oh, is he the ugly vampire? I don't know. Okay, guys, we got less than 45 minutes here, so keep going.
Fem says, yeah, I'd always wake up completely in tears and scared. Weird thing is that after my mom died, I only had that Donkey Kong-like dream once. Yeah, that's kind of a prophetic dream, Fem.
Wow. I feel bad for you, though, Fem. That sounds awful.
Yeah. I mean, the Donkey Kong-like dream sounds kind of cool, but I feel like the circumstances around it, though, yeah. I always like the one song from Donkey Kong Country. It's the underwater one. It's such a peaceful song. Well, Temperature says, I watched Melancholia for the beautiful images.
It's so gorgeous. Actually, if you don't even want to watch the whole movie, just watch the first 20 minutes. You'll kind of get that beautiful visual experience that you may want from watching a movie like that.
I just like they give Kirsten Dunst like this dreamy role in some movies like that. What's the other movie we watched with her? It was like
Woodstock.
Was it Woodstock?
If you guys want to watch a fun trailer, watch the trailer for Woodstock. I don't know if I would recommend the movie, but the trailer I thought was fun.
Yeah, that was
I love the
like,
song from the trailer.
dreamy Kirsten Dunst. Well, even Eternal Sunshine, I feel like she kind of was.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually really liked her character in that though.
So if you guys haven't seen Eternal Sunshine, please watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It has my favorite writer writing the screenplay, Charlie Kaufman. I actually don't even remember the director, which is kind of bad of me. Because I attributed so much of that film to Charlie. I can't remember who directed it. But I definitely would say it's worth it.
Let's see. I sometimes have dreams where I go to the bathroom, but only public bathrooms are available, and the stall doors aren't there. Tefalina. Oh my.
Oh
goodness.
gosh.
That's actually a horror dream in my opinion.
That's another one of those real life horror dreams.
Because for some reason in the dream too, your rationing isn't like, you know what, I'm gonna hold it and find somewhere I can have a stall. It's like in your dream you're like, I have to go and I'm gonna do this. So you're just stuck in this really uncomfortable like situation that you kind of just forced yourself into.
Mm-hmm.
Well-tempered chair says, have you both ever dreamt of each other or shared the same dream?
I've never shared a dream with Josh that I know of.
Yeah, not that I know of.
I feel like usually when I have dreams with you in it, Josh, it's usually like we're moving in somewhere or we're going somewhere. I don't know what that's supposed to represent, but
we're just always on the move.
Which is totally opposite of our real life.
Yeah, we're kind of like...
We're very sedentary. I'm in my chair drawing, you're in your chair gaming. And I feel like we're very comfortable with this very still lifestyle.
Maybe it's like kind of thinking about cons. I mean, we did a lot of cons. We were moving a lot and traveling and flying.
That's true.
So
maybe.
Like, because I enjoyed that time with you too. So I feel like this last year we've been kind of just stand still, which is fine. But usually we're like moving and traveling.
We were moving quite a bit more, especially than now for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm trying to think of a dream about you. Usually it's like we're doing something together, or it's like the school one. I can't think of a specific dream though right now. I forget dreams though really quick too. Like this school one, I'll probably forget about it by like tomorrow, to be honest.
That's why I did keep a dream journal for the longest time, but
yeah, it's kind of this memory that just sits there. It's kind of like this, where you can sort of see the dream through this, and then all of a sudden it just starts fading away. I'm being all metaphorical, but
metaphorical.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time it's just us doing something, whether it's like in a field together picking flowers, or it's always something that we're just doing, which is fun.
Although, you know what's funny is, especially with dreams, I always think of Kat, where her least favorite thing is to talk about dreams. And her sister, apparently someone said to her sister, like, oh, I had this dream last night, blah, blah. And then her sister literally went, stop. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. So now whenever we talk about dreams, I'm always like, there's someone watching right now that's like, stop talking about dreams.
We're just being melancholic, Tim.
Get out of here.
All right, we can move on to...
Actually, let me talk really quick, though.
Well, okay, yeah. Actually, yeah.
So I'm at the point where I want to add in my darker pencils, because I can't get much darker with that pencil without really pushing into the fiber of the paper. So I'm switching to an HB now, and I'm kind of looking for those points where it's really darker, and I'm just gonna enhance what I already have there. Actually, I'll start from the left side and go right as I should, so I don't smear as much. It's one of my pro tips that I don't always follow myself. Do I dream in first, second, or third person? All my dreams are as if my POV was a camera. I'm the same way. It's almost never from my actual perspective. It's always from like a camera lens. I think because I've seen so many movies, I feel like I have kind of programmed my, I guess, subconscious to dream in like camera angles. So I'll usually like see me walking, or I'll like do an over the shoulder, or if I do a close up view, it never feels like it's my eyes. It always feels like a camera, like like a foot in front of my face. But anyways, I'm trying to think of like my favorite dream movies. It has to be Eternal Sunshine. I don't think anything would come close. Maybe Inception had some fun moments.
Do you need water or anything before I sit down again?
Oh no, I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
No, once I'm here for the stream, I'm locked in. We're talking about favorite dream movies. I can't even think of some off the top of my head.
Last Twilight movie where Alice just dreamt up the whole end scene for like 30 minutes.
That was the worst.
I'm trying to think.
I couldn't think of dream movies off the top of my head.
Wasn't there a Rugrats episode?
Oh, I'm sure. But I can barely remember those now.
Because I think it was about Rex or something. I can't remember though. I can't think of any dream movies.
You mean Reptar?
Reptar, yeah. Oh yeah, I thought it was Rex the Rep. Never mind.
I was like, wait.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'm still dreaming right now. What if this is a dream?
Get out of here.
What if life is a dream?
All right, what other comments?
Okay. Tefalina says, my sister and I once shared a public bathroom dream. Okay.
What?
That's crazy. No, I can't even think of like a dream I've shared with anyone else though. I don't think I've ever shared a dream with someone where they're like, oh yeah, besides the teeth one, but even that, like, circumstances are always a little different around it.
I think a shared dream is when you wake up and if you talk to someone about your dream, you'd be like, wait, I was there. I think that's a shared dream.
I guess, yeah.
Or wait, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I got focus.
Okay, yeah. You just draw. You have 35 minutes.
You just draw.
Right, that's what I thought after I said it. I was like, okay. Get back to your drawing, Tim. Do you like Wes Anderson movies?
I love Wes Anderson movies. I'm kind of a cliche because I know it's like all the hip like cinephiles love Wes Anderson, but I love Wes Anderson. You know what's funny though is my favorite movie, I think people would guess if they knew me, would be Grand Budapest, but my favorite is actually Moonrise Kingdom. I had such a pleasant time watching that in the theater. I just have really good memories of it, and I loved how it went. I loved the story. I loved the shooting of it. The jokes I thought were really funny at the time. I haven't seen it in a long time. But I really like also Fantastic Mr. Fox. I thought Isle of Dogs, the way it was shot was absolutely gorgeous. And I can't wait for the new one to come out, the French Dispatch. I looked it up, I think, 2 days ago. I think it comes out in spring now. It was supposed to come out last year, but obviously with circumstances, they're waiting until spring now of this year.
Oh, Wes Anderson.
I love his works.
Eve says most of my dreams are horror dreams. Eve, that's horrible. But all my prophetic dreams are very slice of life. Those are my favorite dreams though, just the very peaceful, just doing something that you like doing in life. Because it doesn't really feel like a dream then, it's kind of just a I think that's why I forget a lot of my dreams, because I think I get a lot of those where it's just something I normally do when I'm awake in a dream.
I will say the other worst dreams I can think of, and then I'll stop talking about dreams,
Okay.
are if I dream I draw something, and if I dream I'm working for like a long time, I hate waking up to that. Because then I feel really accomplished, and I wake up, I'm like, wait, did none of that happen?
What are your dream drawings?
It'll just be something like this, or like
Oh.
or like a fantasy drawing, or something that I normally would draw.
Yeah.
But then I would wake up and I didn't actually draw anything. I hate, because then I like lose motivation to want to even draw what I drew in my dream.
Oh, because it was just that you're doing it twice.
Yeah, then I'm doing it twice.
Anthony, a celebrity study I would love you to do would be, I'm gonna botch this name. Is it Heidi Lamar?
I don't even think I know who that is. Oh, yes. That like took my breath away.
Right.
Oh, she's the one with the big star crown that I see on Pinterest a lot. Yes.
Oh, this one?
Yep, that's the one.
Oh, that is pretty.
I would love to draw her. She is such a, especially black and white film. Obviously, it's like catered to pencil drawing because, obviously. And I did one last year of Ginger Rogers, if you know who that is. And I would love to do another one. So yeah, you know what? Let's write that one down, Josh. Because I would be totally fine with doing a study of her.
I'll put that in my little idea sticky note.
And I think for those of you who are watching that like to do these kind of follow-alongs with me, I think that would be a great study on contrast with a darker-haired female with like, she kind of has like curly, wavy hair. So I guess that would be more of like a hair study and also a contrast study.
Paprika is a cool dream anime movie. I've seen that one.
Oh!
Recommended.
Yeah, Paprika. Paprika is amazing.
I don't think I've
you
seen that
haven't
one.
seen
though.
it yet?
Yeah,
Oh, Paprika is so
I need
good.
to see that one.
Actually,
Or
that
I-
director, you know what? I'm not going to butcher his name, so I'll just say his movies. I would just watch all of them. Perfect Blue. They're Millennium Actress. I think they're very visually heavy in like in a very pleasing way, but I would say it's like eye candy, where like constantly you're like, this is great. Like I am, even if you don't connect with the story that much, you'll be so blown away by the visuals that you won't even care. Because like Millennial Actress, I thought the story was good, but the visuals, I mean, same with Paprika. Like the story is good, and it's very Inception-y. I would say Inception took a lot from Paprika, the same way that Black Swan took from Perfect Blue.
I love Black Swan.
Oh no, is someone shoveling? I can hear it outside the window. We might have closed the window. Yeah, I closed the window. Our neighbor's shoveling. We don't want to have you guys have to hear that. We don't have the really loud party neighbors. Instead, we're like, hey, could you keep your shoveling down? We're trying to work here.
Hey, stop taking care of your yard. 30 minutes, by the way.
Oh. So in areas like here, I don't know if you guys see the reference in what I'm circling right now, but see how it gets kind of smoky? So instead of like having the line go all the way down, I kind of have it fade into this light gray, and I just kind of leave it. So those are simple little tricks you can do to create that like smoky quartz, is have a line that seemed more direct kind of fade into it. Even that's a little dark. Oh, do you want to go a little lighter here? Yeah, it's more like a fade into it.
I once dreamt of me dying in a particular street that I've never been to. It was a very weird sensation. That's spooky. I did have a dream where, like, they showed me what day I would die, and it was a day in the future, so there was that fear of, like, oh my gosh. I remember that's actually one dream I do remember.
I will say about like twice a year I have dreams where I die, and what's weird is then I just stay dead. So my dream, I don't wake up even. I'll just like be dead, and it'll just be black, and like then I wake up being like, what the hell was that?
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd have no idea what that's supposed to represent.
Have you ever people want to talk about the dreams, Tim? So
Oh, guys, there's gonna be definitely people in here that are just leaving. They're like, I can't. Like, I just know that dream talk is one of those things. Actually, Amy Schumer did a skit on this where they're like, she had all these girls that would call this hotline, or guys that felt they were ignored at their work, or women that felt they were ignored by their husbands, and they would call someone, and then someone would just pick up and just listen the whole time. But at the end of the ad, someone's like, oh, I had this dream, but then Amy's like, nope, we will not take dreams. We are not lifesavers, or we are not angels. That's what I feel. I'd be like, okay, if you guys want to, but I know there's a lot of you that are like, please stop.
I mean, come on. Yeah, I think dreams are, don't give dreams enough credit. Okay. How about last dream?
All right, last dream.
If you have to get a dream question out, just do it now. Get it out of your system. Have you ever drawn or inspired by your dreams?
Oh, yeah. I would say even more, well, I would say yes and no. I would say when I was younger more, because I think I was just kind of reproducing what I would see on television or in video games. So it was kind of like fun little worlds that were my own. Like I remember I made up a dream where I had what were called Zigimon, which obviously rip on Pokemon and Digimon combined. And yeah, like that was a fun dream, and I drew my own little Zigimon.
Oh.
But nowadays, I would say definitely looking at other artists, but specifically, I would definitely say when we did Acid, there's like 4 visuals I can remember from the trip that I really want to draw, and one of them was meeting Death, and he was like this figure that was nothing, but he was wearing this cloak that was the galaxy, and he was like welcoming me into his cloak of eternity. And I remember just like walking forward, and that visual like still stays with me very strong. But more than anything, when we were trying to go to bed, or was this might have been Shrooms actually. No, this was Acid, where if you listen to music and you're already like way off of the climax part and you're doing the come down. Josh was upset because he wanted to go to sleep because he loves sleep, but Acid kind of prevents it. But I remember listening to music and then closing my eyes. The visuals you can get from songs that you already like, so it's not like a surprise what notes are going to happen. I was getting so many visuals, and one of them was, I think it was Fade Into You was one of them, and it was like, I remember taking a hand of a fairy and like sweeping across dandelion fields and having the like puffs come out. But then there was this other dream, I don't remember the song, but I remember someone reached out of a window and they were like grabbing for me, and they were like hanging off the edge, and every time I would grab their hand, they would pull me out, and then we would fall together, and whenever we would hit the ground, the ground would flip into a new room, and there'd be whoever the person was with their hand, and I would grab it again. It was a different room, and it was a different cityscape, and it kept repeating. It was like this cycle of falling out of a window.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so very strange. But I wasn't scared. I think that's kind of the beauty of those kind of hallucinations. You're not really scared. You're just like curious. So anyways.
Hang on. Acid shroom chips can be synesthesia.
Perceptual phenomenon with stimulation of one sensory or cognitive pathway leads to involuntary experience in a secondary sensory or pathway. Oh. I mean, yes, that's definitely what I was feeling. Like I said, I'm not going to recommend it. I'm not going to be one of those people who are like, you should do it. But I definitely say I've had a lot of fun with it. Me and Josh really had fun looking at clouds. And in a lot of ways, I think it just kind of grounded us back to how beautiful the world is. Because in a lot of ways, it tricks you into thinking you're seeing things for the first time again. And I think that's kind of the beauty of mushrooms. They're magical, you know?
I mean, clouds are pretty cool to look at because you can see the whole. It sounds so stupid saying though, because you can kind of see the whole cloud moving. Like you can see it, each little bit of the cloud moving. And compared to, I feel like sometimes our eye only picks up the whole cloud moving at once, but you actually see that it's this gaseous form moving in the sky. it just, you see it move in a way different way than normal, and I think a lot of it just because your eyes are so moving, you can just really pick up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you also like the scale of clouds. You feel the scale of how big these giant gaseous forms are. And the other thing is, you'll start to think of weird questions to yourself. I know I was like, wait, is the world spinning? Or no, are the clouds moving? Or is the world just spinning? And they're not moving, but we are.
I mean, ring ring. Hello? Hi, I had an acid trip.
Yeah, I know.
No. I mean, I feel like they're fun to talk about. I think we do talk about it a lot, and I feel like that's the other thing. People are always like, oh gosh, here they go.
Well, I feel like only recently I've been more comfortable talking about this. Because I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. And like, I'd rather be honest with people about experiences that we have, and especially if we do streams like this where we're talking all the time, than to try to pretend like, oh no, we've never done any of that.
Jonathan, Tim casually, when we did acid.
Like I said, I would rather just be open about those kind of stuff than try to pretend like we didn't. Because I think a lot of experiences that we've had the past 2 years, I know some of you know this, but when I went to Colorado, we climbed this mountain. Josh was my babysitter, and we were with a group of people, and I took like 2 grams of shrooms. And climbing that mountain, honestly, one of the best experiences I've had in my entire life. Because you know what? I won't get into that because you're right. Because I think dream talk is similar to trip talk, where you're like, oh, okay, like none of this.
Well, no, it's. I mean,
it's hard to.
I think because it's a very prophetic experience, personally, like in your mind, and it's hard to phrase it without it sounding like, oh, okay. But it can be really a big experience for you, though.
Well, I don't also want to phrase it where like, oh, you have to do this. Like sometimes I think it can kind of come across as like we're trying to convince people, but it's like, no, I'm not someone that is convincing you. I'm not condoning it. I'm just trying to share my experience from doing it, and we've had really good ones.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like you definitely have more. I don't want to say existential. I feel like you have very visual experiences compared to me, though, where I feel like I tend to just really just almost not think. It's really nice. It's almost this, you just look at everything around you and see it in a different way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I would say it gave me a lot of peace. I no longer feel I have the ability to hate anyone. That was like stripped from me. And the whole cheesy thing of like, I am me and you are we and you are all together, whatever that whole slogan, like you feel that. And you're like, everyone is an extension of myself. We are all this tethered bond called humanity, and each of us are part of a whole, but we're each separately living in our own bodies. You get all that feeling, and it's just one. I don't know. It just feels good. Then you feel more connected to people you've never met. I feel like it's easier to be kinder to people because then you feel like, well, that's an extension of myself. I want to be kind to them because I would want someone to be kind to me. And it's like, I don't know. And I think especially with how much turmoil seems to be in the world right now, I think it's like the lesson it gave me, and the one that I want to preach to, whoever watches this or my Instagram, whatever. And I'm sure you feel the same way, is like, let's truly be kind to other people and like see them as not these like crazy like Twitter ragers. Like, just remember, like, they might be going through something. They might be just really steamed. COVID might be giving them a lot of stress and they don't know how to outlet it properly. There's just a lot that I've been able to kind of recognize within myself of trying to work with people and remind them of how great life can be, and not so much always attack someone else for not believing in the same thing you do. Like, I think even with veganism, I'm not going to attack someone for not being vegan, but I can definitely offer, like, here's an alternative. Like, if you want to make scrambled eggs, Josh found this great tofu scramble recipe. I think that's the way we should go about handling things, is more like trying to understand where people are coming from and relate to them, or try to see where they're coming from, or maybe where that anger is coming from, because oftentimes I feel like it's projected from a different root cause. I feel like usually if you can talk to someone long enough, you'll find out where their actual anger or their actual frustration or sadness is really coming from. So anyways.
I mean, yeah, hate's just such an exhausting emotion. I just don't get why people even spend time on it.
It's easy to get upset with people, because I mean, I've been upset with people too. But I would say you would even admit that letting go of that and just like taking that weight off your shoulder and just like even forgiving them, I think is so much better.
Been a lot of things, and I hate to say it because I do think I think not everyone needs it. I think even meditation, that's why I think a lot of people have been really connecting with it. But I do think acid was what kind of helped me, though, get to this mental point of just letting go of things. Because I think I was, in a way, holding hate towards certain people from my past and things that happened to me. And it was just really nice to fully just let go of it. It doesn't bother me anymore. I don't let it control my life anymore. I don't let it destroy me anymore like it used to. Because I let go of the hate that surrounded it. And I think a lot more people should really look into that. Now, I'm not saying drugs or like... I do think they are nice, but they did kind of give me this ability just to let go of some things in a really healthy way. And I think some people just really allow their trauma and other things to control their life. And I think there is something to just letting go of it in a very philosophical and very like, there's something to it. I'm not saying that to be for everyone. I know there's a lot of things surrounding it in different circumstances.
I think piggybacking what you're going off of is like, I think people can reach the same level of conclusions, like what you said, like through meditating. And I don't think like you have to do, trippy hallucinogens to get there.
Yeah.
But I do think that same result of letting go of what you're saying, the trauma, can be extremely beneficial for not only you in like how you feel about your life, but even your career or your passions or what you want to do. Because I feel like a lot of times those can hold you back. And I think you do kind of have to take them off, because the road ahead will be far less weighted if you're able to take off whatever's on your shoulders. Okay. I'm going to switch to...
15 minutes and 40 seconds. I think I missed the 30 minute mark. I forgot what I missed there.
Josh, I might have to get a timer.
It's right there. There is a timer. My apologies. All right.
Got too big into dream talk. Got too big into trip talk. I get it though, because I tend to ramble too when I stream.
Anthony says, simply, does he reach out? Yeah, we do reach out. Just make sure you at vonnart. Sometimes we don't always notice everything, so...
Oh no, Josh, are you skipping comments?
Actually, I might have skipped some here too, though.
Schwa.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me jump up. Kenan says, how have you developed your sketching ability? May seem like a dumb question, but even as an artist, I've always had a hard time keeping a sketch and not turning it into a whole piece.
Oh, to be honest, I'm kind of like you. I feel that way when I sketch. I would say, though, if I specifically am doing thumbnails, I know this may sound really silly, but honestly, drawing a box before will make it so that I don't do like a clean drawing. So if this was my crystal, I'd be like, okay, so it kind of looks like this, So I'll do like a really, really rough sketch of it, and that way I won't think too much about rendering or going so into detail as I might normally do. So I hope that helps. I know it is hard to not fully want to render everything that you do. So I think if you intentionally go into it being like, okay, this is going to be a thumbnail, nothing more.
Anthony says, I just saw a really weird but incredible sculpture by Cameron Stahlheim called Merman. I think you'd really like it.
I don't think I'm familiar.
Let's see.
Oh, yes, I am familiar with this. This is also something I found on Pinterest. I'm kind of a Pinterest fiend. So this, and there's another one there's a female mermaid, and she's dead in the sand, and it's that same type of like very beautiful snake-like body, and it's like hyper real. Oh, it's great. Yes, thank you for that though. If any of you have not seen it, I'll Google it. It is a glorious sculpture.
Jonathan says, I love that this just turned into a Joe Rogan podcast. Jen's just let me know when you're nipping over to Scotland. We have a great deal to chat about. Well, we do plan on it.
We do want to go to Scotland this year.
So definitely. Plus, I think you have a lot of places to show us.
I actually don't watch Joe Rogan. I don't know what he talks about. Is it good or bad? Now I'm like nervous.
I don't know.
I'm like, was that an insult or a compliment?
Is he talking about Shrooming?
Is he really?
I don't know. No, I'm just curious.
Okay, so now is the point where I kind of go back and forth between my drawing and the reference, and I can really see like where the values need to be punched up, because there's a few areas that are way too light where they're much darker in the reference.
Eve says, next time you feel like you want to feel the sense of a connection, maybe when you're meditating, try listening to Spangle. I had to use their music to learn to sleep as a kid. You guys are amazing. Well, thank you, Eve. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna write that one down. We always, even music, we fall asleep to music usually too.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I tried, I found a cute little Nintendo.
I don't know what you were playing last night.
I was like relaxing Nintendo playlist.
Oh.
That's when I switched it though.
Yeah, I did remember it switched.
Yeah. Because it was playing, it was weird.
But we usually listen to like soft piano songs or soft, not white noise, what's that called? The brainwave music.
Oh, with the hertz or whatever. It's and Marie says, and actually, please let me know if I say, because I feel like I might be saying the name wrong. Is it Amhiri? I don't really want to try. Just let me know if I'm saying it wrong. But do you feel more energized to create after being outside, climbing mountains, etc.? For me, it's integral to my creativity to not be cooped up.
I would say I'm like 50-50. I would say I really do like when we go hiking and doing stuff outdoors. But usually I'll take like reference photos along the way, and if there's like a cool rock or a twig or something that I want to draw, like, yeah, I don't know. You know what? I will say I'm not though, because I do find I could definitely be cooped up inside for like months at a time and be fine. But I do think going outside does enhance certain visuals or certain references that I normally wouldn't get. And I just personally, outside of drawing, I just like being outdoors in general. But I know that I'm type of the person that totally does not mind being inside, drawing, watching a movie in the background, like a very simple life.
10 minutes, by the way.
I
do think I think you do find some, because even when we were in Colorado, I remember you were drawing a lot of references that you took pictures of. You enjoyed being able to do that, yeah.
I mean, I definitely enjoy that aspect of it, but like, I don't feel trapped by being inside.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but you do find like inspiration still from being outside.
Oh yeah. Okay, if that was the question, yes.
Well, no, it's if you feel more energized was the question.
Oh,
but
then no.
Yeah, but you feel inspired.
I do feel inspired by being outside. Yes. Well, especially in the summer, we have this. I think we have a beautiful backyard, and we have this gazebo where I love drawing in the gazebo, and I'm one of those people where I don't mind if like the dandelions just kind of overrun the backyard. So I love like drawing when there's just a bunch of dandelions, the wind chimes are blowing, and I have my incense burning. I'm one of those people. Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, I love our yard. I mean, we're literally in the neighborhood, so there's people that live behind us even. But it is just really, we have these big trees back there. So it's like,
it's kind of secluded.
It feels secluded even though there's people like right there.
But not really, because there's like a 10-foot drop into our neighbor's yard.
Oh yeah,
and then we have giant trees that go from they're like 30-35 feet tall to basically the floor, and we never see the ones right behind us.
Yeah,
I would say we see the ones more to the sides of us, but we're going to get a fence soon, and actually we have some plans for this summer we're going to do some things in the backyard, and it'll be really fun. I don't want to spoil anything because I want it to be a really cool reveal in the summer. But we do plan on having a midsummer crystal ball in our backyard. And I'm very excited for what we're going to add to it. And I'll definitely have photos, and I'll post them on Instagram.
Well Tempered Chair says, do you know your rising and moon signs?
Surprisingly, I don't.
Yeah,
but I am a
think
Libra,
so.
and I was born at 9:20 a.m., I believe. So whatever that would be. And that was 1989. I feel like, you know what, for all the times I've like looked up Libra things, you would have thought I would have looked up this. What?
Felix, okay, coloring in 15 minutes. Let's go. You got this,
Get it, Felix. Actually, if you got some good base down already, I feel like you could definitely color it in 15 minutes, no problem. I believe in you, and I've seen your work. You got this.
I feel like coloring is probably something you're really comfortable with because I feel like you always have that on point.
Oh gosh, yeah, 7 minutes left. Okay, so now really everyone just focus on some finer details. Add in little scratch marks, whatever you need to give your crystals a bit more life. Edge out a lot of the edges that are darker and have good contrast. Make them stand out further.
Well Tempered Chairs, hi, ayahuasca on your trip wish list. That's that stuff they do in South America. I think someone told us
ayahuasca.
about it. Ayahuasca. I'm sorry, I'm really bad.
Yeah, we've been recommended that by a few different people. Who knows? I don't want to say we would never do it. I mean, I'm not really opposed. I told Josh I do want to go to Burning Man one year. I think that would just obviously not COVID time, but I think it would just be a fun experience. I'm definitely a very millennial in the sense where I like experiences more than things, and I would much rather like go to Scotland and not really take that many photos. I'm learning. I was just talking to Josh about this too. I don't really take photos like I used to, and I think I realized I'm living more present than I ever have, and by doing that, I don't really need to be what would that be called? Like tracking or marking my day to day. It's very strange. And especially running an Instagram channel, I feel like there's this pressure where you have to be doing stories all the time. Mm-hmm. But I think when I'm hanging out with my friends or if it's just me and Josh doing something, a lot of the times I'm like, you know what, this is for me. This is going to be something that I want to experience. And it's kind of a new way of thinking that I'm not used to, because I used to try to capture and record everything. I wanted everything to be documented. I wanted my life to be like this movie. But now I'm okay. Just like, you know what? No, I'm here. I'm having fun, and we're just gonna run with it.
Fem says meditating has been helping me a lot in letting go of stress and fear.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't take it away, obviously. I definitely am one of those people that have a hard time letting go of feelings. It's hard. Yeah, no, and I think there are some feelings obviously you need to hold on to too. But it's hard. Meditating does help a lot, though. It puts you in this stillness, I guess, which a lot of people don't have in their lives much, especially if you're busy or especially if you live more in a city or if you're somewhere that there's a lot going on all the time or there's constant noise. I think it's just helpful to have a moment of silence, just to be able to sit in your thoughts for a moment, listen to it, and then work from there with it. And I think that's really important for a lot of people to do.
It can be very hard to drown out noise. I know it's like something I have to actively work on, because a lot of times I'm thinking all the time and I'm not really present when I'm doing things on like a day-to-day. So like when I'm around people, I think it's really easy for me to jump. Like I was saying earlier, it's easier for me to feel in the moment. But when I'm just by myself, I'm just thinking of like different projects, what I should be doing next, what I should be drawing next, what I should be doing, what I should be promoting, new ideas for YouTube. Like it's hard for me to quiet them. So I'm kind of like you, where I'm still learning how to manage that, because sometimes I'll like pass out on the bed upstairs, not because I'm tired, but because I'm mentally exhausted. I'm like, I can't, I'm thinking, I just need to stop. And Josh knows how it goes too. I'll get really quiet and I'll just like, I'm just zoned out. I'm like a zombie.
All right. I don't want to miss a lot of these things. Jonathan says, I'll send you some links. I'm guessing this was with the podcast. Yes, all the shrooms. Also, they do shroom talk.
Oh, really? Joe Rogan? I thought he was supposed to be like the very strict conservative talk. Maybe I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah, he's not
conservative.
I know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Like if it's an artist or a movie thing, I'm usually pretty good. Like I'm pretty knowledgeable in those things. But anything else, I wouldn't say I'm the best. Or actually, I'm pretty good with video games. Pretty good.
Kenan says, general question, are these lives usually on Wednesdays? Ordinarily, I'm at work, and this is my first time joining. Would love to join again and actually partake in practicing my craft.
Yes, so we do these every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time, so noon. And yeah, they're probably always going to be at this time frame. Every now and then I'll do like a night one, but I would say those would be more rare. I would say, yeah, we'll probably stick more to this format where they're in the afternoon.
We're just about to hit 2 minutes. Last year I found out I had aphantasia, and I was able to rework how to do art now. This finally took off for my progress. That's from Jamie. The crazy part is I didn't even know I had aphantasia until I watched a video on it. Now everything made sense. I don't know if I even know what that is. See, you guys, learning so many things all the time. It's a condition characterized by an inability to voluntarily visualize mental imagery.
Oh.
I'm sure there's a lot more to it then, too. But that's...
Oh. Wait, is that the inability?
So it says, a condition characterized by an inability to voluntarily visualize mental imagery. Many people with aphantasia also reported an inability to recall sounds, smells, or sensations of touch.
That'd be so
That's just
weird.
like the basic Google definition.
So like if you wanted to try to think of a crystal in your head, so you wouldn't be able to. That's so weird.
Well, that makes sense then why once you are aware of that, then it helps you with your art then.
Yeah.
And reworking how you work with it.
Yeah, because then it's probably not like trying to pull imagery from your head, but just working more with reference. And oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know you had that.
Jonathan, pack your bags and come for an actual holiday for the mind. I'm learning just how important actual downtime is. Not all great experiences need documented, just appreciate it.
Jonathan, we are really looking forward to it. So yeah, definitely plan if you're available later this year, and if there's nothing crazy with the virus going on, we definitely want to travel to Scotland, and would love to see the places that you would say are the rarest and best parts of the country. We only have 10 seconds. I guess I'll say this really quick and then we'll stop. Is when I have been traveling to different countries, I think the best part of each one has been finding people that live there, and they, like Tijl in Belgium and my friend Kieran in Australia, where they were able to show me like the coolest like spots that aren't the most touristy, and those were like real gems. And I'm finding out gems, they're real special, and I want to do that whatever country we want to go to. I always want to like do a reach out, or if anyone knows the cool spots, because if someone came to Wisconsin, they probably wouldn't know what to check out besides some cows and barns. But if you ask me, I could take you to like the coolest spots in Wisconsin, like the real gems of this state, like House on the Rock or places in the Dells. And I think that's the way you should travel. I think you should always just reach out, because especially with social media, it's so easy. Anyways, we are done. How'd everyone's crystal turn out? I feel like mine's okay. Mine's good enough for what I see in it, but I definitely think if I had more time, I think I would be able to punch out some of these values more, edge it out a bit more, or even draw the hand. I kind of want to draw the hand. Maybe I'll do it off stream, like I said earlier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and for those of you who have to go, thanks for joining us. And then for those of you who want the critique, post in the Discord. There's a link below. There's a stream follow along, and we will get to doing our mini critique session. So we got to do our switch.
Kind of you and Trixie Mattel are Wisconsin queens I live for.
Ah!
Tim is a Wisconsin queen.
I did kind of, I watch a lot of her and Katya, and I found out I have a very similar laugh to Trixie where it's like a yell laugh.
Yeah, you have.
Like, ah! Like, I don't want to do it live on stream. It's too loud.
You're.
Okay, let me switch this over.
I can't even do it. That was even doing it justice.
Yeah, what was that?
It's kind of what it sounds like from the other room. All right,
from the other
switching?
room. Yeah. Okay, so here's our Discord. So if you want to post it in the stream follow along, I will go ahead and start reviewing this. We gotta do our switch because I'm gonna work on my Cintiq.
I don't want to get this messed up. Hang on, me.
Ooh, you locked the chair.
It locks by itself.
Hi, it locks by itself. You
move
share.
this back though. Put that up. Oh my God, there's a candle there. I'm gonna put this in front of you, actually.
Beautiful.
Or throw it on the floor.
Could you hand me my brown glasses?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There we go. I'm so close to the camera here.
Oof. So yes, if you followed along with the stream today, if you could take a picture, or if you have a scanner and you want like a really nice scan, I will be doing the live kind of paint over critique session. So let me open up the crystal file. I'll make this bigger. There we go.
It's so nice having the little screen right here. I can see everything you're doing.
Oh yeah. Okay, here's my crystal brush again. So like I said, I'll put this on Gumroad later if any of you are looking for kind of a digital special brush for painting on the inside of a gem. Actually, I'm going to turn this off. Does that make us look... Oh, we're...
That's so much better, yeah.
Alright.
It's like blinding.
And then as I pull each, Josh, if you could look on your Discord. Oh yeah, so I'm going to start pulling them. Are you ready?
Oh, start reading the comments with it?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Let me get
All
up
right,
here.
so the first one is from Wish I Was a Tree.
Cute. Got a little greedy and went in with too dark too early.
No, I think this looks great.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Actually, to be completely honest, this is wonderful. Wait, where's my... Could you hand me my Cintiq pen? I think it's on that side. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
To me, this is a great example of drawing crystals because you're not afraid of placing your dark values and like have them touch right against light. You have some of your lines fading into like this one specifically. That was the one I mentioned on the stream. Like I think that line is great and it's a little jaggedy because that's how it is in the reference here. Oh no, I do like this one. I would say, yeah, I guess the next challenge is, and I think similar to how I ended with mine, when I pulled back and I looked at the reference in mine, I kind of noticed where the darker values still needed to be. So on yours, I would definitely say like here, adding more of those darker values. Oops, let me make this. Actually, I might do the digital trick where I do the lay it out. Oh, make a new layer first. Come on. I would make this one a bit darker. Use my eraser tool. I would make this a bit darker. So I think from here it's just pushing more of those dark values. But I feel like it's hard with the 90 minutes because we're so focused on the different facets within the crystals that I think sometimes working on just like pure darker value spots is kind of like an afterthought. Which is, I mean, for you, this would be so easy to add in afterwards. Same with this side. Because I'm going to do the same thing to mine before I post it on Instagram. I do little touches here and there. And then even on surfaces like this one that look like they're lighter, you can see how there's actually a lot of detail and only the edge is really light. So in this example, and you know what might be fun for you, if this is, I can't tell if this is white, this might be a white sketchbook paper, but if you're working on tone paper, it's so much fun to pull a white, actually let me pull an even lighter one here. Going back in, and especially if you're doing this digital, going with like a lighter value and touching up the edges and the surface that is lighter, I mean, it'll really make your crystals pop. And I'll just do a little bit on this one as an example. So for all the future ones, this is kind of, and especially like little dots like this, little scratch marks. Oh, that's too many though. I also don't want to overdo it with that. There we go. You can see how that can really add a nice look to it and pop it up. So before and after. So I don't think you are working with tone paper, but for those of you who are working with either tone paper or digital, using a light, almost light gray, almost white color can really make your gem shine from there. So thank you so much for submitting. I think that's great.
Kennedy says the contrast is amazing. It looks like it's glowing.
On the one.
On the one you just
did
look
yeah,
at.
thank you. Yeah, it's literally just adding more of that and then pushing.
Oh no,
the highlights.
yeah, they were just saying about that one.
Yeah,
it looks like.
I'm gonna grab. I think this is the final one that you were doing, Fem.
Oh, Fem.
Oh, let me open the original. Okay. I always forget it's a little blurry if I don't do it this way. There we go.
Oh yeah. Sorry for the quality. Been almost a year since I picked up a pencil and first time drawing crystals. Really struggling since I've also been awake since 4 a.m. for work.
Oh.
Fem, what? And it's now 9 p.m. To be honest, I was having fun though, and that was my goal.
Well, I'm glad you had fun. I think for my critique, I would definitely focus on the different planes, because right now it loses it a bit for me, and I think kind of edging out areas like this one specifically, I think can help out. Actually, yes, I'm doing it on a new layer. So I think wherever you want straight lines, like really push them to be more straight with like little imperfections if you want. But I think even with like this top crystal, I think it reads a little weird for me because the value on this one should be darker, and then the gradient shouldn't feel as line art or as contained. So if you make it more, let me do it like, where if you can rely on those edges and the contrast between them, really singing the praises of like where one part of it ends and one where one begins, I think that's where you'll find a bit more success with drawing these type of crystal formations. Because I think it's really easy to want to line everything out and like be like, okay, this is the edge here, this is the edge here. But I think with this type of drawing, it really is letting your values butt up right against either a lighter value or a darker one and leaving it as that, which I know can be difficult. Especially I'm an artist that likes to line art everything, and I think it's kind of an extra challenge with drawing crystals because I think it does look more realistic when you don't do like heavy line arts everywhere. So even there, I would let that fade out. This still should be a bit darker. So you can kind of see before and after how we're starting to get that, and then where it's like really light, kind of like I was talking on the last one. I know you're working on paper, so it won't be pure white, but taking your eraser tool then even, and like, let me make this smaller, and edging out where some of those highlight lines are. And it becomes really easy too if you want to add, see this like secondary, you can add like secondary lines. So it's like little chips, and it's so easy to create that illusion. So I want to implore you to try doing that too. Same with on here. So yeah, I keep going, Fem. Oh, and then the other thing is on the bottom half, this is where you can be a little more loose with your pencil marks. And I think having more of that irregularity can help recreate the bottom of the rock that feels more like a rock. And it feels more textured and you know, add more to that. So thank you, Fem. And it's always great to have you on the stream, even if you're super tired.
Love you, Fem. This is Eve. Eve. This will be my last time doing a live for a while, so I'll be catching up at different times for my work. Here's my crystal. Honestly feel like it is weak and the contrast is poorly rendered, but it's an improvement from the crystal studies I've been doing for the crystal flowers idea. Thank you for these.
Oh yeah, well I know it's kind of a bad time for a lot of people, but I know it is also a good time for a lot of other people too. So it's hard finding like one that works for everyone. So maybe every now and then we'll also do a night one, or at least night for us, where we'd start at like 6 or 7 p.m. So that makes more sense for people that have to work during this time, or they're not even awake at this time.
I almost should like do a survey on one of these YouTube lives just to get like what would be the best time for everyone and see kind of what those are.
So I would say for you, the next step from here is blending, because I feel like everything is very hard on the paper, and I think actually there's a couple things that I'm seeing now. I can see that you also lined everything out, kind of like what I was just saying on Fems. So I think for you is letting go of the fear of not lining something out to contain it and letting it kind of fade into. So like the best example on this crystal is one on the top, where this line starts really dark going down right here, and it kind of fades into that smokiness. So on yours, this would be, you can almost delete that line and leave it more like that. But I think the crystal I'm going to focus on for yours is the center one, where it's okay to have large blocks of this, darker value. You can see how this will help push it. And especially see on right here, you have that line that kind of tells where the value should go inside. If you have that line and the value be one and the same, and it's not really line art anymore, it's like a block, a shape of value, it'll help separate the form from one another. And everything here is a bit darker. I would say the other thing for you is trusting your midtones. I feel like they feel very scattered. And I think going from edge to edge will help you. I see a lot of like scratch marks within, but I would fill in the entire thing with a bold value. I think for you, working with shapes might help quite a bit, and trusting that those shapes will read. So you can see how even like that triangle is more light. See how even doing those two, and even if I pulled, let me just do a little on the top here. So having more of that gradation going down. Actually, that would be my biggest tip for you, is try working with gradients, because they are an artist's best friend. They're the best visual tool to help lead the eye of the viewer to where you want the viewer's eye to be led to. And I think that will help you quite a bit. Like that. So if I turn that layer on and off, you can see how before it feels more scrambled, but then having larger blocks of value can help create the forms of the crystals. So that is my advice for you. So thank you, Eve, though, for submitting. Next one.
All right, so next we have Eunuch. I got so terribly frustrated with this, I stopped 15 minutes before the end and just spiraled in my thoughts. Didn't know how to even approach the undone parts. So if the fish metaphor is still up to date, here we have another fish.
So for those of you who don't know the beta fish, I had a really hard stream where I hated my beta fish so much. So now it's this inside joke that whenever you do a stream drawing where you like are just not feeling it at all, it's the fish. So I think for yours, actually, I think there's a lot of good things going on. I don't feel like this is a failed test run here. I think for you, similar to what I was talking about Eve's, is I would block this shape out more and let some of your triangles have more of the black. Like I love that you took on the gradient talk that I did before the stream even started. I would just allow some more of the solidness to take control rather than it be more gradient. I feel like you're using gradients a little too much, and I think I would bring some of the value back in, because I love what you did with the gradients. I think they're actually really good. I think now just filling more of those solid values alongside those gradients, and then obviously the bottom half, I think it can get a little frustrating for anyone that wants it to kind of read more perfect, because down here is when you do have to kind of let go of that control and be like, okay, I'm going to do more of these scratchy marks And I'm going to let that read as my my shape, my edge, my texture that I'm adding here. And a lot of it kind of fades into different colors. It's smoky in some areas. So I think that will be my challenge for you. But honestly, I don't feel like you did a bad job at all. And then even like on here, having maybe just this one be lighter and letting the other ones be more a solid value. And I think being aware of like, okay, this one looks like a slightly darker value all the way down, or this corner seems to be darker than the other parts of it. So it's a lot of like comparing and contrasting compared to the crystals around it or the background. And I honestly think you did a good job. So you can see like even these little touches, I'm just slowly adding to what was already there. I think that's what you should focus on. And like for this area, see how light you made it? But on the reference, it's actually more mid-tone, almost all the way down. And it's really the shadow from the finger that kind of gives this half and half duality in the middle one. But you can see the line of the highlight, the lighter crisp going down the center here. And that's what can help separate it. And I think adding in these little scratch marks and all those things after can really help you. So I don't think you should beat yourself up too heavily, but I do understand like when you're in the fish mode, you're like, nope, it just looks bad. I don't want to deal with it. So I totally get it. But thank you for submitting though. Oh, Jonathan.
Next up, we got Jonathan, realizing there's a strong need for more contrast in the values and texturing here. Areas of rest versus information, etc.
I think you did a really good job. I think maybe even getting more fine-tuned might be my suggestion when I first look at this. But I actually think your I don't think comfortability-ness is a word, but how comfortable you are with going dark is actually an advantage for you. I would say, yeah, I would let some of the smoky area be more smoky. And I like that you are comfortable working dark, because usually I feel like I'm always telling artists to do the opposite. I feel like too many artists draw too light, myself being one of them. I have to remind myself to go dark to add those contrasts where necessary. And it's not like if you only use light values or if you only use dark, like one's better than the other. But I do think if you want to help pop out contrast, it would help having both. And like the back of the crystal is a really good example for you, where imagine if this was a lighter value, it would make the crystal in the front, this one, pop out even further because you have that contrast then.
This reminds me of like an old fantasy book or something, a crystal you'd seen in it.
Right? Jonathan's sketches, even when I see them on Instagram, always feel like he's working on this old sketchbook like next to a waterfall in a forest. That's usually the impression I get. And then same with this crystal in the middle here. I can't really tell where it ends and where it begins. The easiest way to do this, and I wish I would have known this sooner when I was in art school. So let me fill in the value here. Rather than going darker to try to enhance the shadow, instead go lighter, or usually go more toward a mid-tone and edge it out behind and watch. It will definitely bring the crystal out and kind of punch it against the background, or in this case, the other crystals. Like that. Actually, I'm going to make this a little lower. Because then you can, kind of like the other two that I just did, have more of those solid blocks of value. And then yeah, down here would be more jaggy and edgy. And I would say don't overdo the highlights. I like that you added these lines, but I would almost make them smaller, a little more petite. So they're more of like a hint. You get the hint of the highlight, and that's what will sell it. I can tell you like highlighting though. As I'm going through around your piece, I can tell you like how a highlight can like really make it sing. But remember, there's a lot to say about highlights and subtlety. So you can see before and after how you actually had a pretty good underneath drawing. I think a lot of forms got lost because I couldn't really tell where one would start and where it begins. And usually that can be a good thing, but here I think there's too much of the clutter, where I think just separating the crystals based on the reference more can help separate the form. So great job, Jonathan. Thank you for submitting. Ooh, Ella. Oh my gosh.
Ella says, my crystal study with the sweaty Tim.
A sweaty Tim? Why is it sweaty?
The little sweaty Tim emoji.
Oh, the emoji. I think that means like nervous, well, I guess sweaty.
He's sweating.
So this is obviously gorgeous. I think for me, my critique for you would be, well, I think the way that you did the shapes, the color picking, everything looks great. I think from here, just adding texture. And this could be even, honestly, be as simple as adding a texture brush. I think I downloaded one from Justin Gerard. I think it's in my Photoshop still. Okay, it's one of these. I want to say it's one of these. I think for you, let me see if this is the brush that I like. Nope, not this one. Because I am part of his Patreon. Oh shoot, am I going to remember which brush this is? There was one of his brushes that had just gorgeous texture. And I remember I was like placing it on my Grizzly drawing when I did it. And I thought it just gave just the right amount of what I needed. I'm gonna have to, I really should have like highlighted or saved it. Nope.
Can you favorite them?
You can kind of separate them.
Okay.
Well, this one will do. Okay. So I think for you, it would be now, I almost want to try it to see what a soft light or overlay layer would do. Because it looks almost too perfect, and I think adding some of that ruggedness may help. Let me add. Because I think you paint the same way I paint, where I like things looking like it was painted. I don't like brushes kind of taking over. But I think having a hint of the texture from the brush and then adding in with your whatever brush you normally work with after, I really wish I could have found a brush I thought was just perfect for. It had to be the Fungus Knight. It's one of these. I'm not going to find it. But I think maybe if not even a texture brush, I think going in really small and adding in, let's go lighter here. So you can see a lot of like the imperfections even here. Oh, this brush is not going to show up. Okay. I should have came in better prepared for that. Here. So I think going in and doing all these like minute little details would be my next challenge for you, because clearly you've got the base down. This base is perfect. And I think going forward, it's now doing these like little spots, these little extra details that are more minuscule. Oh, you did a great job on this rock here too. Because I think, especially doing things digital, it's so nice to be able to like punch out values or add in the highlights wherever you need them to be. I'm going even lighter in this part of the rock. Because I think since yours is going more even towards that like almost hyper realism, I think just pushing more of those small little cracks and imperfections on the surface to create that more jagged texture look everywhere. This is gorgeous. I think you have a great eye. I think you can clearly see and recreate, and you can kind of pull color. I think this is just, you did a gorgeous job.
Yeah, the colors are great.
Let's see. I mean, it might be very small. You can see how it's slowly adding more of that texture, so you can like feel the surface of it. Whenever I look at something, I always imagine how it would feel like digitally, and like yours feels so smooth, it would be like butter. But I think if you want it more of that rock texture, I think you gotta implement more of that texture, that randomness to the bottom. So thank you for submitting. I think this is excellent.
Wow. And this is my best friend Matilda's. This is from Ella too.
Oh.
She doesn't usually draw, but since we're hanging out, she wanted to join in.
Actually,
Well, thank you for joining, Matilda.
for someone that doesn't draw normally, I feel like you got comfortable working with darker values than a lot of artists normally do. So I think, honestly, like the proportions are a little different. I think you have more of like a down up, where this is more of like a straight line in the 3 racks. But I'm not going to critique you too hard on the proportions or anything. I think this is actually pretty wonderful. I think maybe, yeah, next time you want to draw something like a crystal, like adding and like playing with more of those irregularities, because I can see a lot of your lines go like straight down all the way. So maybe playing with some of those lines, breaking off and fractaling into the smaller crystals, as you can see. And it's kind of weird if you don't draw a lot to like trust like a scribbly type technique, but it does seem. I wish I would have tried doing a scribbly technique earlier in my life, because I feel like I would have been more loose with the way that I draw. Because a lot of the times I'm very tight when I draw, and everything feels very stiff. My characters, their poses, everything. So I have to remind myself to be more loose. And for someone that doesn't draw often, I mean, this is pretty good. I think you just gotta, experiment with being more loosey-goosey with your brushstroke or your pencil. Yeah, even with like the shape of things, I think here you can kind of see how it gets a little thinner and start to see, okay, it's more like a glove. This is almost like a hand for someone with 2 fingers or something. And you can kind of see like, okay, yeah, this crystal's height, and then this one should be above this one by however amount that much is. So when I go on mine, like I want to make my crystal start much lower. So overall, I mean, good job, and thank you for joining us, especially if you don't draw often. Ah, Felix! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
Felix says, okay, color was definitely rushed. And I also wanted, that was like in 15 minutes you did the color, Felix. Stop saying that. It looks perfectly fine. Okay, color was definitely rushed, and I also wanted to add maybe some kind of night wanderer, but my anatomy knowledges said no.
No, I think this is such a good like hour-and-a-half study of a landscape. Like I could see this in a fantasy movie as concept art. I think a lot of people misconceive concept art as being like polished, but a lot of concept art looks literally like this, where it's more loose. It's supposed to get the idea across, the feeling, and I think you definitely gave it. I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of things of like how you could render it more, but I feel like you already know how to render things more. So it would be redundant for me to tell you that. I think for the crystals specifically, I would probably have more of the gradients and more of like the push and pull of the more neutral tone. So like neutral gray, and value, I should say. Am I doing this on separately? Okay, good. And I think where your highlights are, I would make them a little more edged out. Just because if you want it to read from far away, I think having more of a sharper angle, especially with a landscape like this, could help. And especially, this is where, on yours, this would be so much fun to do, because you're kind of giving me a great foundation here to add in those highlights and really make that crystal pop out in certain areas. And I like that the edge can be a little irregular, and you can kind of break it up as if like the edge even has a scratch on it. Even like here. Same with this one. And I try to keep my highlight line more irregular as well, so it's not consistent all the way through, to kind of break it up. Yeah, like that. So overall, Felix, I mean, for an hour and a half study for a landscape, this is great. I think, yeah, just taking like the final minutes to just like really sharpen the areas of focus, which I would assume would be the crystal in the foreground. That would be my advice for you. But overall, great job. But I always feel like I expect a good job from you. The pressure is on, Felix. Ooh, JZ August. Oh, this is wonderful.
With a bit more time, I guess I could match the darker tones better at the base of the crystal.
Yeah, I think for yours, let me make this better. Yeah, I think for you it was just time. I actually don't have much of a critique on this because I think what you've done is lovely. I think just trying to work faster, which I know is always my biggest struggle too, is like pushing what I can do in 90 minutes. But it does help in the other facets of doing art then when you're doing your own thing. But yeah, I can tell that you didn't get as much time down here. And the time that you did spend up here was well spent. I can see a lot of those different angles. I can see things separated by form really nicely. Maybe even pushing, similar to what I was saying before, more of those solid. Oops. Oh, I'm doing this on the same layer. Let me make a new layer first. Like making some of these darker and have that gradient be a little more prevalent. Same with like this one. And on this side even. So a lot of times when I'm working digital, I'll use my brush tool and then I'll switch back to my eraser and do a quick like opacity reset. Yeah, and this rock back here too. So I can't give too much of a critique of something that I've already mentioned before with the other ones because I think you're already on the right path. I think it's just doing more with time. And I know that can be a challenge. I'm one of those who in college I hated when there was like a 90-minute life drawing study and I feel like I only had 15 minutes more. So I think it's just going to be me pushing you to try working faster. And I do definitely understand the pain of it, but I think you're there. Like you already have the skill, I can tell. You're already there. And now it's like, okay, the next challenge for you isn't so much how well you can render it, but how I can move faster. So thank you for joining us. And then Jamie, what'd they say?
Oh, let me jump over there. Jamie, I started 40 minutes late, but here's mine.
Oh, for 40 minutes late, you actually got a lot done. I feel like, yeah, if you had that extra 40 minutes, you could have, I mean, that's like almost half the time.
Right? That was...
So I won't judge you too much on the time factor. I think if I can tell, like, this is the one you focus on the most. Similar to what I've been saying to a lot of people, I like that you're seeing the gradients, and like we talked about earlier, they can be your best friend. I think is maybe having it more subtle, and like, yeah, if you want the top of this to be darker, or wait, let me make a new layer. Come on, Tim. There we are. Like that. And same with this side. I like that you have somewhat of that gradient, but I would push it to be a little more monotone. And that it'll really make then your light part of the crystal just shine. And I think that's why contrast is so important when doing crystals, because to really make something look reflective and give it that crystal look, you really want your lights to be really light and reflective and shiny, and you want your darks to be really dark to add that contrast to the shiny parts. So I won't say too much more than that on yours, because I think obviously you just need more time. But I think this is great for what you have so far. And then also remember areas that might look really light, like I could tell here you had it very light. But if you think about the crystal, and you know what? I should have made this even grayscale for you guys. Or no, you know, I like the challenge of seeing something in color and trying to figure out how to make it a grayscale. You can see it's actually a very, not even like a mid-tone. I would say this is like dark, dark. Let me look at the scale here. So it's like right under mid-tone in that area that we would think would be light. And even the highlight, see how it's like a 25 to 30% lightness. So that's why working with neutrals can be very important, but you want to make sure that you're not overvaluing or undervaluing, which I definitely have a problem with my own art. When I'm doing realism studies, at least. I mean, usually when I'm doing art, I'm totally fine with like negative space being pure white, and that's totally cool. But I think with yours, you can see how, let me make it smaller so you can put both of them on the same screen. You can see how you really want to push those darker values in the top half of the crystal, where on yours, this is still very light. But once again, time I think was a big factor anyway. So thank you though, Jamie, for submitting. I think this is great. You guys did wonderful. This was honestly, I think, my favorite in terms of the execution in the pieces. I wouldn't say any one totally missed the mark, and I would say you guys did a great job on this. So
this was fun.
Yeah, this was a good one.
I think crystals are they're so fun to look at. So just seeing everyone interpreting it and drawing it.
Yeah.
Just fun.
I don't know. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I think next week we'll do a coloring crystal stream. So I'll give you guys the reference, and it'll probably be a Photoshop file. If you don't work with Photoshop, I also save a JPEG so you can pull it into whatever software you're working with. But I think a lot of softwares now work with Photoshop files, but hopefully it won't be too much of a problem for you guys. So yes, we'll be working digital next week, and we'll be doing a coloring crystals. So if you want to join us for that one, and then the week after, that's where we're going to turn our creative minds into action, and that's where we're going to kind of create something all unique to each of us, and it'll be creating a crystal being or a landscape, kind of like what Felix did today. So that will be in 2 weeks, but next week will be the coloring one. All right, any last words, Schwab?
I don't think I have anything today, no. Just thank you everyone for being here today.
Yeah, this was a pleasure. I'm glad that we kind of started doing these again this year.
I know I missed it.
Yeah, we'll keep doing them.
We won't talk about dreams next time.
Yeah. Dreams and tripping.
Yeah, dreams and tripping. We probably will, but...
Oh, no,
Oh, did you end it?
No, I minimized everything.
Oh, shoot, okay.
There we go.
No.
Okay, well, you guys can see my screen, though. Let me change that to be the... Oh, but there's nothing even there.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello.
I guess here's
oh,
my...
gosh, my hands.
Oh, it's the filter.
Moisturize.
I have a sharpen filter, so it looks...
There we go.
So even with mine, I could probably darken some of the values up there. Okay, now we're going to end it. So thank you guys so much for coming to this live stream. It's always great talking with you, and especially exploring dreams and trips together. So I'm sure we'll talk about something different next week. Or maybe not. Who knows? Okay, thank you guys for coming. And... Kat did tell me, though, for YouTube, it does help if you like and comment on the actual video, because that will help more people see it, and we can get more of the community growing. So if you could do that before you leave, that would be great. And if not, we'll see you next Wednesday. Okay.
All right.
Bye.